9-year-old Elijah Cruz Torres and 10-year-old Ellie Garcia. Police say they were just sitting in a classroom yesterday afternoon getting ready to go on summer break in just a couple of days when this gunman walked in, barricaded himself in that classroom and opened fire. Reports say one of those little girls in the class picked up the phone and tried to dial 911. But she was shot and killed.
Fox's Alexis McAdams. FBI Director Christopher Wray telling lawmakers there's no single answer for what motivates lone wolf threats.
I look at the El Paso shooter in the Walmart there. If you look at his so-called manifesto, it's all over the place. So we're having more and more challenges trying to unpack what are often sort of incoherent belief systems combined with kind of personal grievances.
At a Senate hearing, Wray says they need to stay laser focused on efforts to counter violence motivated by hate and extremism. America is listening to Fox News.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they will continue to be there for you in the years to come. Get a personal loan for that summer vacation or to pay off those long overdue bills. Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,900 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña, now at the old Nanbo Insurance Building at 475-4545, Upper Tumon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, here to serve you.
In celebration of our 33rd anniversary, BK's new Whopper Melts are here. Our Whopper Melts feature 2 slices of toasted bread layered with 2 Whopper Junior patties for a quarter pound of plain grilled beef, melty American cheese, caramelized onions, and stacker sauce. Whopper Melts now available in a spicy and bacony variation made for our big Whopper fans. Top off your meal with jalapeno cheddar bites and a refreshing Coca-Cola. Get your hands on the new Whopper Melts, now available for a limited time. BK, Tumon Bay, Hagåtña, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. BK, your way.
The man accused of murder on a New York City subway train is due back in court.
Police call it an unprovoked killing. 25-year-old Andrew Abdullah has a long rap sheet. He served 2.5 years for conspiracy and attempted weapons possession in a gang case. Was on parole until last spring. Had open cases for vehicle theft in April and an alleged assault. He turned himself in for the subway shooting on Sunday that shocked the city. Police say he was pacing on the subway car, muttering about a phone, when he suddenly pulled out a gun, fired a single shot directly at fellow passenger Daniel Enriquez.
Fox's Eric Sean. Enriquez was on his way to brunch with his family when he was killed. A family lawyer has said Abdullah has mental health issues. More funerals today in New York from the supermarket shooting in Buffalo. A security guard who fired at that gunman among those being laid to rest. An ISIS affiliate in Afghanistan is claiming responsibility for deadly bombings in the capital, Kabul. 9 people killed in 3 bombings of minivans. The group has not claimed responsibility for another bombing at a mosque that killed at least 5 worshipers. A stadium deal is off in California as city officials pull the plug.
By a unanimous vote Tuesday, the Anaheim City Council chose to cancel the sale of Angel Stadium to Los Angeles Angels owner Artie Moreno. In a statement, the city said the vote follows the May 16th notice of a federal investigation into former Mayor Harry Sidhu stemming from actions he may have taken related to the stadium site proposal. Anaheim Mayor Pro Tem Trevor O'Neill said, knowing there may have been an element of corruption that brought the final product to us, we cannot move forward in good conscience. Jared Max, Fox News.
A strong finish on Wall Street after a choppy start. The Dow up 191 points at the close. The S&P nearly 1% higher. The NASDAQ gaining more than 1%. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Go green, go hybrid, go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
Get big discounts on huge travel experiences with the First Hawaiian Bank United Credit Card. You can travel to destinations in the USA and receive 10% off selected United Airlines Premium Economy or Business Class airfares purchased through May 31st, 2022 when you use promo code FHB022. Visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or go to FHB.com/UnitedFairSale10 for more information. Don't wait. Apply today. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Half a day at 6:06. I'm Montesova Tyron with a look at your local news on The Point. A 29-year-old man was killed in a car crash yesterday in Dededo. The crash occurred around 1:20 in the afternoon. Route 28 in Isangsong near Chalincote is where the accident took place. The driver was headed north when his car ran off the road and he crashed into a concrete utility pole. The Guam Daily Post reports medics performed CPR on the man as they rushed him to the hospital. However, he was pronounced dead upon arrival. The man's name hasn't been released, but authorities did confirm that he was a lone occupant in the vehicle. Crash investigators will determine whether speed or alcohol were factors in that crash. Meanwhile, Navy officials have confirmed a woman who was talked off the ledge at Two Lovers Point this weekend is in fact a sailor with the U.S. Navy. The woman is reportedly still admitted to the hospital. Her 1-year-old baby died, however, and an autopsy will now be conducted to determine the cause of death. Her name has not been released, but police continue their investigation. Joint Region says that they are cooperating with the police investigation. It was on Sunday morning. Emergency responders were called to Two Lovers Point about 7 a.m. following a report of a distraught woman who brought her child with her to the ledge of the tourist spot. Authorities were able to convince the mother to hand over the child. It took crisis negotiators several hours to get the woman to safety. It was determined that the child did pass away just shortly after being taken from the mother's arms. Also from the Guam Daily Post, at least one officer with the Department of Corrections faces disciplinary action in connection with last month's escape from the prison. An internal affairs investigation revealed the officer allegedly violated security protocols at the time the detainee was able to get away. Now, DOC is trying to take further steps toward disciplinary action. 22-year-old Katie Arison, who was being detained in connection with a stabbing, was able to flee the Mangilao compound for almost an hour before he was eventually captured. He now faces charges of felony escape, eluding a police officer, and reckless driving. Well, more news right after this.
Is your business ready for digital transformation? The latest Wi-Fi technology is here, and it's Docomo Pacific's WorkPass, powered by Plume. WorkPass unlocks connectivity, productivity, and security tools all in the palm of your hand. Access features like adaptive Wi-Fi, guest and employee networks, evolving AI security, plus so much more. To learn more about WorkPass, visit business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
A 19-year-old man who was connected to a string of robberies could spend the rest of his life in jail. Eddie Addy facing up to 70 years behind bars, according to prosecutors. Addy was the gunman involved in at least one armed robbery at a local store in Tamuning. The gun he used was said to be an airsoft gun. Addy was convicted of multiple counts of second and third degree robbery, terrorizing, and theft. Each conviction includes a special allegation of possession and use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. He appeared before a judge yesterday for sentencing, but his defense attorney, Sam Tecker, asked the court for additional time to review the presenting report. Addy is now scheduled to appear back in court today. Now, the AG's office announced earlier this month that Addy faces 16 to 70 years in prison. And the Attorney General's office has confirmed for the Daily Post that it is reviewing allegations of abuse made by an 83-year-old woman who claims she was abused by her daughter. No criminal charges have been filed just yet against Mary Grace Dellen Jacot, but the mother alleges that she had been physically abused by her daughter, who also tried to force her out of her home. The Guam Police Department says that Jacot was taken into custody, but officers were later advised by the AG's office to release her. The AG's office has not released any further details other than stating that the office is reviewing the incident. Meanwhile, the court has a woman accused of throwing rocks at passing cars was arrested, but not before causing some damage to at least 3 cars that were passing by. 32-year-old Tracy Alton was charged with 3 counts of criminal mischief and assault as misdemeanors. The woman is alleged to have been pelting rocks at cars. 3 separate drivers told police that they were heading south on Route 4 When Alton threw rocks at them, she did cause damage to several of the vehicles. She was later arrested and taken to mental health, where she was also arrested on charges of assault on an individual there. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
Mental health town, I tell you what. And why was she throwing the rocks? That's the most important.
Because they weren't giving her a ride.
To the swimming pool.
To the swimming, yeah.
What?
Yeah, she used to swim every day, Ray.
Somebody tell
Every
that woman
day she
there's
swam.
no swimming pool on Guam.
There's a big swimming pool that surrounds the island.
It's the whole ocean.
You could skate in it. You could skateboard the swimming pool again.
This is an amazing, amazing story. And then there's another one in the magistrate report about these guys who've been arrested for stealing cigarettes. Because what's a pack of cigarettes going for these days, Joe?
$8, $9, $10 bucks.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. Pretty much a grand larceny now when that kind of thing happens. 6:11 in the morning. Here it comes, the hot weather forecast for today. Beautiful sunrise in Pirates Cove, though. Let me get those pictures up on the screen where I tell you about what the rest of the day is going to be like. Mostly cloudy today with highs near 88 degrees east. Southeast winds 5 to 11 miles an hour. Did you hear that? Mostly cloudy. Maybe there's a shot that things are going to be a little bit cooler. No. Heat index today is going to be 96 degrees. Another hot one, guys. Mostly cloudy in the forecast tonight. Overnight lows are around 76 degrees. Mostly cloudy again tomorrow with highs near 88 degrees. East southeast winds 3 to 7 miles an hour. There's partly cloudy skies in the forecast for tomorrow night. So maybe no green flash tomorrow night, although I have some reports that there was green flashing last night. Hope we're all talking about the same thing. Sunrise this morning at 5:53. You can see images of it over at the eastern side of the island. Gorgeous sunrise from Pirates Cove. Thank you, Jeff, for taking those pictures. The sunset tonight is going to be at 6:43. If you got pictures of that, by all means, let me know. 6:12 in the morning. There's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific. Banking on the Pacific for 67.86 years.
Win a $100 gas card when you purchase Gasolina energy drinks. Be one of 5 winners and enter now when you purchase 3 for $4 Gasolina 8-ounce or 3 for $5 Gasolina 16-ounce energy drinks. Drawing on June 21st. Free gas with 76 Circle K. Take it easy. Ice, baby. Get a 10-pound bag of ice for only 95 cents when you purchase a 12-pack or more of any soda or beer. Only 95 cents for a 10-pound bag of ice. Swing by Circle K today. Some conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Ice.
The Federal Reserve is starting to increase interest rates to fight inflation, but they're still so low, making it the perfect time to refinance your home, to lower your rate, and perhaps take advantage of its increased value to put some cash in your pocket during these uncertain times. Cash that you can have the freedom to access when you want, where you want, with your Bank Pacific Visa debit card. Lower your rate, put cash in your pocket. Access your cash when you want, where you want, with your Visa debit card. For those split branches, we place roots, and we're rooting for you. Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply.
I'm doing it, man. 6:13 in the morning. Portions of the program brought to you by APL American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. And by the way, got this image here of sunrise. This is aboard the Herodot, the APL's Herodot. We've got Carl's out there. Apparently, it's a Marianas sunrise, so it might be somewhere in this area as the sun is coming up over the deck of the Herodot. Thank you very much, Carl, for that. Also being brought to you by the guys over at Cold Stone Creamery. Celebrate your graduate with Cold Stone Creamery's grad-themed ice cream cakes, or try the tall, dark, and delicious signature ice cream cake for Dad's Father's Day. Call in, visit, order online at coldstonecreamery.com. And from Cold Stone Creamery, congrats to the class of 2022. You did it!
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
At the Facebook Live, and there was a little quote down at the bottom, and I'm like, what message is this? Just something that said, "Good morning, sexy." Good what? Huh? Hey, what's going on? It's only Thursday, guys. Hold on, just one more day, and we can get into the friskiness that is Friday. Hey, welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray. Thrilled to be with. is it? Thrilled to be here with you on, what did I say? It was Thursday, not quite Friday morning? All right.
It's going to be a scorcher.
It's going to be a hot one. But it says that there's going to be some clouds up in the sky. I'll see if I can get that up on the screen here and see what the weather area is looking like right now. And there's Guam kind of in the middle of it. Yeah, it looks like there might be a patch of clouds coming in from that snot that's down to the southeast of us.
You see the pink mist there, Ray? What is that about again?
The pink mist is generally indicators of dry air, a drier area of air. And that's generally a good thing as it moves through the area because it means that there is less moisture in the air, less to be humid about. But, yeah, that's a ways off. It's over in that direction here. We need to be looking at what's coming in from below right now. And maybe a little bit of relief because it was an unbelievably hot day yesterday. I mean, even when the sun went down, it was still hot. And walked inside of a place and the air conditioner was not crispy. And I said, screw it. If I'm just going to sit and complain about this. So I might as well just sit outside where I know it's hot, but at least there might be one of these breezes rolling through here. 6:16 in the morning. Anyway, that's just me. That's just me, guys. A whole lot of other experiences, including the ones that you bring to the table when you chime in over on the Facebook Live, YouTube Live. A bunch of people already online beat you to it, but we'll go through that countdown in just a little bit. In the meantime, let me make introductions here. One of them, you got to talk about this guy right here, Real Joe Cruz, superstar, rock star on the closed circuit, downhill on the bicycle course guy. You doing anything? Is there any races going on this weekend?
I don't think so. There may be a couple of mountain bike races left for the season, but road races are starting up. And I can't do the Tour de France style racing road bike thing.
No, you're better with it. Well, I mean, it's you're having a good time doing the mountain biking thing. So, I mean, that's its own profession upon itself. But somebody was asking me yesterday where we're going to be 5K'ing it this weekend, and I don't think there is a 5K that's going on this weekend that I'm aware of. Normally, I'm kind of plugged into those things, but the running club had their big deal, their 13-miler race the other day. The Total Guam had their thing last Saturday, but as far as I know, there's nothing going on this weekend. So you'll have to, oh God help us, train on your own. You'll have to go out there and just pound the pavement on your own and try to get it out of your system. 6:18 in the morning. Monica Tyron does that just about every morning if she's up to a little 5K run around the downtown and getting your area.
I was looking to see the one that's coming up next. I think is the most beautiful run.
Oh, in Guam Running Club.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Well, it is.
It's a hard one.
Yeah.
Are there any?
It is. It's in June. Well, this one is in the south, so it goes from Umatic and then it takes you to Nimitz Beach. And if you've ever
is that the one? Oh my God. Is that the one or is that the alley-oop? Are you sure?
Yes, it says it's on June 4th. I'm looking at the GRC calendar. June 4th, it's the most beautiful 5-mile run.
Okay. No. Okay, so Fort Soledad, no, you go in the opposite direction. You go from Umatic into Moleso.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
it's a beautiful downhill. You got this beautiful downhill, and you're running through, and my God, I love the South. Yeah, you see Cocos and everything. Yeah, you get here's the dolphins playing in the waves. You got mermaids waving at you, and if you look down at Cocos Island, you can see the pirates with their treasure. It's beautiful. And then you get down to where the convento is, right? The which is beautiful building, restored and everything. Is a beautiful sight to see down in that part of the island, and then you take a turn up to the radio station. There's an actual radio station up there. At the end of the road, you got to go up this hill, and it is the least beautiful part of.
The hills will kill you. You forget the view.
Yeah.
Because you're just looking at your feet.
But you get another nice downhill again after that. You get to race downhill.
But you're right about the alley-oop. The alley-oop is in December. And that was the one that immediately followed the Honolulu Marathon. Which I got suckered into. I was like, why isn't this race ending?
People ask, I remember I did that Honolulu Marathon, and then I showed up for that one, and then people said, "What are you, stupid?"
Oh, gosh,
I said, "Well, it's a race. Awful. What the heck?" 6:20. It's all right. The way that one works is that you leave, go to the Umatic Rec Center. Right by the mayor's office.
That one ends at Nimitz Beach.
Yeah, and then it's an uphill run all the way until you get to SETI, and then SETI. By the time you get to SETI Overlook, then you can open up your stride, and then it's straight shot downhill into Nimitz Beach.
My car struggles to make it.
Me
I know. Wow, a lot of running talk already here this morning. Groovy at 6:20 in the morning. Monica Tyron will take care of big news and headlines. Do we actually have any big news or headlines here this morning?
No.
No, I didn't think so. No, I'm serious. Even Bob Klitsky, when he got to the card, it was 5:30 before Bob Klitsky got to the card yesterday because there just wasn't that much going on Guam. You know, it was a kind of a quiet week. You know, the GOP made a big deal about Joe Biden skipping over Guam, and I found out why. To get a page. Hold on.
Oh, diarrhea
13.
rate?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I figured he just...
Was it George Bush? Was it George Bush Sr. that was on a summit in Japan? He'd gone on a trip and he ate some bad sushi or something like that. There might still be video floating around, and threw up right in front of the emperor and everything. It was a really kind of a dramatic moment because you don't normally have those kinds of lapses in decorum here. 621 that we know of. President Poopy Pants did not have a Poopy Pant episode here, but this is the interesting part. It's a weird kind of headline. Page 13, Guam Daily Post. If you're following along, Taiwan looms over the Quad talks. Russia, China planes on patrol. This is the reason maybe that the president and maybe the Secret Service guys were, you can't go to Guam. We're not taking you to Hawaii either. We got to get you out of here, because while this is going on, Japanese scrambled jets after Russian and Chinese warplanes neared its airspace during a visit by U.S. President Joe Biden Tuesday. Tokyo conveying grave concerns about what it saw as a provocative move timed to coincide with the Quad summit. Now, these weren't just any ordinary planes that were veering into Japanese airspace. These were Russian and Chinese bombers. They were, they could have had nukes on them.
Yes.
And so what are we doing here? Joint exercise between the Russians and the Chinese? You'd think the Russians would be busy with Ukraine, but they are apparently still kind of in cahoots with the Chi-Coms out there, and making a show of force in Japan while the president of the United States is in the country, is in that time zone.
Tom Cruise will save us.
Tom Cruise and hey, man, no spoilers. No spoilers. I may, because I'm hearing really good reviews about Top Gun, I may go into the movie theater to watch Top Gun with Tom Cruise in it.
I'm feeling drawn too, man.
Are you getting that feeling? You just kind of want to play volleyball with no shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
His body looks great.
I have not seen that review just yet, Real Joe. But what the heck, to each his own. It says 6. Nothing wrong with it. 6. You just be careful with the monkeypox, okay? Don't you be bringing that to the radio station. 6:23 in the morning. Lots and lots to get to. Maybe I'm going to be making stuff up here this morning and digging into a cachet of news stories, not necessarily local, but certainly of interest in a national and international and regional and businessy kind of way, because as I'm fond of saying, we got 4 hours. I met a couple of guys last night. I mean, it's
Oh, yeah.
not like that.
Oh, I see.
I know. I met a couple of guys. Who was it? Pop Rocks and Soda was playing over at Carabao last night.
Sweet.
And, it crowds up, and it's beginning to be like that old, remember Ichimoro restaurant? Where, there's just so many places to sit. And,
it's tight.
After a while, you just got to go, well, I had the table all to myself, but what the heck, it's going to get crowded. So these two guys, pretty close to my age, which was cool, sit down at the table, and after a while, exchange business cards, what you do. So these guys are helicopter mechanics.
Ah.
They are helicopter mechanics. And I said, are you here with the military? And they said, well, here fixing a chopper for the Guard. And I'm like, and it made me want to ask if Shelley's been getting some sleep, because normally the Guard guys have been doing some exercises around Shelley's backyard, and she always complains about not being able to sleep. And I said, that's the sound of freedom keeping you awake.
America.
But anyways, so these guys out here doing some work, maybe going to head up to Saipan, do some work up there with helicopters. And it was just a fascinating conversation about all of that stuff. But anyway, so talking to these guys in Texas, and from Texas about Texas-y stuff and the shooting in Texas, and we're all like, wow, I feel terrible about this. And the guy says, yeah, teacher should have had a gun. Teacher, if somebody around there had a gun, maybe this thing would have gone in a completely other different direction. It's an interesting perspective, interesting point of view. Anyway, 6:25 in the morning, lots and lots to get to as we make our way into Thursday morning, but we never do it alone. Real Joe, Jerry Roberts, Montesilva, and I, and this crowd, helicopter mechanics.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. Glad you came. You want to be where you can see the troubles are all the same. knows your name.
Yeah, 6:25 in the morning, like the Biba Telefofo Fiesta. Everybody knows your name. Biba San Miguel. I don't know when that's coming up. It's just one of those happy memories that I've got stuck in my head. 6:26 in the morning. And number one here today includes our very close, very dear personal friend, Big Man Rico Blancaflor.
Way to go, big man, big man.
Come on, buddy. Hey, man, your employees want to see you over at the next 5K. Come on, let's get out there and me and you and your wife will go. We'll jag. We'll jag whack up and down.
Bring the remote control car, bro.
Yeah, remote control. And your gun. You can be our. You can be the security big man. What do you say? Juanita Machi comes in at number 2. I see Charles Craw there. Sarita Garin saying 1 more day to go. Curious now, Sarita. What's happening with the children? Who's watching Chansey? Has Mandy got a job yet? Because it's summertime. The girl needs to get some work done. What do you think? You're going to buy your own nails? How are you going to get to States next time? You get a job. You go ask your Auntie Mika for a job over at Infusion. See what's going on. We got Sandra Regis online. Biba.
Congratulations, Sandra.
Viva, she filed.
She filed. It's in the newspaper. We talked about that yesterday with Cousin Freddie. And did you see where John Savaris, our buddy, our marijuana buddy,
Big John,
has apparently picked up a package? So Biba to him when he calls JB St. Nicholas online. Dennis Larson saying good morning to the Point fam. Biba. Well, he's not actually running for.
No, I mean B.
Oh, B. Okay, I get it. You're a funny guy. So sunrise over at his little farm there. With a gorgeous view of the sky as he makes his way into Thursday morning. Mark and Francis Ishmael are there. Jennifer Poe Schnitger asking, y'all got power there? I have power. We have electricity. Is there no electricity where you are?
Yeah,
Come
I
on
shut
now.
mine down all night last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, just,
You're doing your part to conserve.
Take the pain.
You're like that. You think about other people. I think that's an important, an important quality that you have, and a great asset is you're always thinking about yourself here. I'm going to turn off my electricity so that others may enjoy their electricity, their air conditioning, their television without having to worry about load shedding. That's great. Greg Karabach is online. Happy belated birthday to you, Bob and Connie Bartonico. Hey, Grandmaster. Nate Horn saying good morning to everybody. I see Valerie S.A. Untalan and Stephen Klein sending his good morning wishes. Katie Pelicani online.
Hey, good morning.
Have a neighbor. Nice to see you there. Anna Marie Francis Salas. There's former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez.
Oh, sunshine.
Let me just check and see if I have the visual here. What was I saying yesterday? I was talking yesterday about how vitally important it is. I don't have it, Carl. I'll have to put this up in a little bit. But how vitally important it is that former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez be made kind of a guest of honor at the governor's State of the Island address. June the 7th is when it's going to be taking place. Because if you think about all of this is a tough time coming out of COVID, and if they just paid attention to what Carl and Jerry and I were saying, we probably would have been on our feet a little bit faster and moving quicker towards an economic rebound here on Guam. But no, you got to listen to the Twitchers at Public Health and the Physicians Advisory Group and ignored some really great advice. But the advice that they did take has turned into, I think, a pretty good toehold on recovery here on Guam, as evidenced by another picture I'll show you in just a few minutes of what it looked like at immigrations. I've got an updated picture of just a horde, H-O-R-D-E, of people, tourists, with revenge travel in their heart, and they found their way to Guam. And how did they find their way to Guam? Because guys like Carl Gutierrez took the initiative, got on an airplane, and went and spoke directly to the CEOs of all of these major airlines that are now, they were going to come back anyway, but they've increased their flights and all of that stuff. So if good times are happening for you and your business, you thank Carl Gutierrez. And Governor of Guam, you need to thank Carl Gutierrez as well. I will be very disappointed if he has not given a pride of place right there at the front, and perhaps a standing ovation. You can put that in the notes, right?
You can.
Right, Monty? Is that the way it works on the scripts for the State of the Island?
Yes.
So all of everybody knows. Well, I mean, it's clap, clap, clap. But there are places in there in the script that all of the department heads and cabinet guys have that says, okay, standing ovation here.
Yeah. I guess you could work.
Gotta wear your shiniest medals, Ray.
I don't know if Carl Gutierrez has any medals. I think
he's
the
shiniest
medal. But the last couple of addresses were not with audience.
And that's why they went quicker than normal. Nick Pulaski's online looking for something to growl about. Sarita Garin saying, "Are we ready yet?" I thought I misread this the first time I saw it. It looked like, "What are we wearing today? Are we wearing anything specific today? Should there be some kind of a uniform?" MP Ogo is there. Army Lynn saying, "It's Friday. No, baby, not quite tomorrow." Ashtane. Joanne Fullerton is there. Peter J. Santos, be back. Is online here this morning. Peter J. Santos picking up some paperwork. Hasn't put it in yet that I'm aware of that would allow him to run and compete against Doug Moylan and leaving Camacho. Peter, it's time to start putting out your signs. Post Canteen, and a reminder, we are close to $3,000 worth of the Queen of Hearts giveaway over at the Post VFW up in Gigo. Cost you $1 to get into that, and then who knows, you could win all of that money. I got Francis Salas there. Colin Clark, buenas noches to Oliver Malakas. Mark Voigtland checking in from the free zone. There's Lena McDaniel online. Leslie St. Nicholas and Anthony Bennett. Lujan Duenas is watching the program. Carl Meyer is on the program here. 888-825-5888-TALK is the telephone number. Marie Ramy Delgado Camacho. Good morning to you. Carl says Magandan Umaga Marianas. And Ken Leon Guerrero with a link. Interesting, Ken. What is this? A link to a YouTube feed? What could it be? What could it possibly be? Sandra Regis. I did the Hono, too. Oh, you've done the Honolulu Marathon. Great. You know who else likes to do the marathon? Doesn't necessarily run it, but former Governor Felix Camacho from time to time will go out. He'll walk it. He'll walk the entire 26 miles.
That's even harder because it takes so long.
Don't disagree.
Yeah, so you can't just get it over with.
No, that's 6-7 hours of hoofing it. James Howard online here this morning. So is Jerome McDonald saying his body looks great. That is a repeat of a line that we got from Real Joe Cruz in reference to Tom Cruise. It's 2022. I mean, you don't really need to have a great body because they can insert that digitally, can't they?
You can.
I mean, just special effects, some kind of green screen, like a body double would just put Tom Cruise's head, like on my body. And then he would look just like he did in the original Top Gun. Just saying that's how it's done. Ismail, before Brandon, gender dysphoria or gender identity disorder was considered a mental health disorder, but then Brandon appoints a person suffering from such to be responsible for all mental health in the country. Texas Rangers suspect Ramos was transgender and shot his grandmother in the face because of her religious beliefs, then went and shot the school children out of anger out there. Mental health problems that we've got, and as Ismail pointing out, some people legitimizing those kinds of things. Ed Uggan online. I got Greg Fausto. Edward saying gas is cheaper than milk. It's getting that way. Sarita, where everybody knows your name. Armando Dominguez is there. Josephine Bloss. Did I not Biba? Should we have Biba? I forget. Mona said we were supposed to Biba Armando.
Biba.
And we'll throw in it.
There you go.
We're just throwing it, it's kind of just in case Biba. Yeah,
okay.
if anything, Biba for Armando. Vivian Castro Leon is online. Mark Voyland, they were listening to the digital engagement manager. Jim Bonanno online 2.5 years later, and we are thanking people for returning tourists. Hey, what? No, everybody gets to take some kind of victory lap. Joe Biden he got a victory lap. He said, look at all these people. Look at all these jobs we created. You remember a couple of months ago? And we were all like, well, no, Joe. Those are all the people in the industries that we shut down, and now they're going back to work. These are not new jobs that we are creating around here. So just FYI. So what the heck? Yeah, we got tourists that are coming back to Guam in wholly larger numbers than they would have if it weren't for guys like Carl and Jerry over at GVB. 6:34 in the morning. And I do have this that I'd like to put up on the screen. I should probably do this next time we do the weather report. The heat index is between OMG and WTF. That's where it was yesterday. I went home and I got my had my lunch and took a nap, and normally we'll wake up because it's time to wake up from the nap. But yesterday I woke up because I was sweating in the bed, and I didn't have the air conditioner on, as is my practice. But all I could think of was, when is this going to end? And that might actually make a nice conversation with the guys over at the weather service. We're moving into summer, and some people would say, well, summertime, Guam, summertime is going to be hot. Doesn't generally work that way. Generally around the summertime we get a lot of additional rain and things like that as we move through a wetter kind of summer than most people have, and I'm wondering when that's going to happen, because we need the break. Good news is that the hotter weather is going to be making the air conditioners work a little bit harder these days, but it's possible that that the increase in the fuel surcharge could be put off. It looks like the Guam Power Authority is having conversations with the governor about maybe taking some of that ARP money, as has been done in the past. And I think I remember giving her credit for that. $15 million that they gave to the Power Authority so that they would be able to hold off on significant increases in the LEAC rate. And they're having that conversation again. And what's the answer going to be from the governor's office? Right now, there is no answer. Right now, there's no answer. We haven't said yes, but we haven't said no either. My guess is that it's going to be maybe. Am I going to get a new bike for Christmas, Mom? Maybe you're going to get a new bike for Christmas, or maybe you're going to get clothes from Diana's. I don't know what it's going to be, kid.
Nice.
I know. You like that? Solid reference. We're all going to sit in the warm bath of nostalgia today thinking of Diana and that little hippie store across the way when Hulali's first opened back in the 1970s. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you. But, yeah, it's in my head. So what's it going to? So if it's no, tell us now. Because so that we can start, making plans for what the LEAC is going to be and make those proposals to the guys over the Public Utilities Commission, which is what they're going to be doing, just in case the answer is no, or if they're going to have to wait any longer than about a month or so. But if the answer is yes, when will we find out? And the answer to that question is when we decide to tell you, when we think that it is more politically expedient to make an announcement about, well, we've taken a look at the numbers. Les Carlson, Ed Burden, and I have taken a look at the numbers, and we feel confident that we might be able to take another $15-20 million and give that to John Beneventi and Tracy over at the Guam Power Authority and hold off on any of these LEAC rates. No, actually, we need the ascending from or descending from heaven with bags of money for JB music. Do we have that one there? No. It's that one. That one, you can see her floating down, angel wings above her, and in her hands, 2 buckets of money, $7.5 million each. Here, JB, give this to the people. Give these savings to the people from me. And in the back is Mike Nicholas saying, thank you for the federal funds. 6:37 in the morning in the Ray Gibson Show, and about time right now for Montesilva Tyrant to deliver another spectacular newscast, headlines, where we get to find out just what the heck happened yesterday, what we're going to be talking about today. Mon?
Well, police are investigating a fatal car crash yesterday in Dededo that claimed the life of a 29-year-old man. The man was a lone occupant of a vehicle that struck a concrete utility pole near Isangsong Road. His name hasn't been released. Joint Region confirms a woman who was coaxed off a ledge at Two Lovers Point this weekend was a Navy sailor. The woman still in the hospital. Her 1-year-old baby was said to have died after she handed over the child to authorities. An autopsy will determine how the child died. And an internal affairs investigation underway to determine it actually pointed to an error on the part of a prison guard. The error led to an escape of a detainee earlier this month. DOC says the officer allegedly violated security protocols at the time that the detainee was able to get away. He was out of the prison for at least an hour before he was captured by police. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
I got you. 6:39 in the morning, getting a nod from Uncle Carl. He says, Jerry and I both heard your comments. If anyone is really appreciative, it's your Auntie Jerry, who I could not love more. Who I could absolutely not love more. There's some. Oh, there it is. Morning, thanks,
Auntie Jerry.
I got to do a shout to Chirag Bajwani from over at the Democrat Party of Guam.
Chirag,
dude. Whoop whoop. Hey, can we drink now? I mean, I might not be the best time to ask that question, maybe, but, I'm a clever guy, and I'm just kind of curious. No, I'll drive. Just,
you got this, man.
Jimmy will drive. We'll get together, me and you, and Jimmy will hang out. But I'd asked for it yesterday, because I thought I had it, and now I can't find it this morning. But the Republicans made a big deal yesterday about the snubbery Joe Biden. But again, reminder, Joe Biden was running from the Chinese and the Russian nuclear boomers that were flying around, that were orbiting Tokyo while he was there. So that's why they couldn't hop, skip, and a jump all the way home. Had to fly directly to the fortress that is Anchorage, Alaska. But at any rate, so I knew that there was going to be a response from the Democratic Party of Guam. I didn't know when it was going to be coming out. So it comes out late yesterday afternoon, a statement from the Democratic Party of Guam's Executive Director, Chirag M. Bojwani. LOL. President Trump brought Governor Calvo to a fuel stop. President Biden brought Governor Lou Leon Guerrero to the White House. The fact that the Republican Party of Guam wrote a 5-paragraph press release about how the president refuels Air Force One is just sad. End of response. Now, I was hoping for something that was a little bit more developed here, but I got a tweet instead from the Democrats. So I'm
nice.
just, thank you, but, a little bit more. Come on, guys. Got to put something in there and actually address some of the points that the Republicans brought up. Don't remember them? I might go through some of that here this morning. In 20 minutes at 7 o'clock in the morning, The Ray Gibson Show continues.
What's for breakfast at KFC under $3.95, you ask? What's for breakfast at KFC that's different than the other guys, you ask? KFC's chicken wrap, sausage wrap, the Colonel's chicken congee, chicken fried steak, sausage biscuit and gravy, and biscuit sandwiches made with KFC's original fluffy biscuits. All for under $3.95 and all only at KFC. Plus, with waffles and the Colonel's chicken fried rice, we've got something for everyone.
So visit KFC for breakfast today. It's finger-licking good.
Half a day. Patsy Gogri from Security Title here with information about what a title company does. The title side of our business determines who owns a property and guarantees your ownership with a title insurance policy. The escrow side acts as an independent third party, managing the transfer of money and documents between the buyer, seller, lenders, and others. Security Title has a management of real estate closings down to a science. Give us a call. We are here to help.
On March 4th, Guam Homeland Security sent an advisory warning about Russian cyber attacks and recommended Guam organizations strengthen their cybersecurity postures. You might think your small business isn't at risk, but as businesses use more cloud and web-based tools, they're exposed to cyber attacks designed to snare victims of any size. Keep your organization protected with GTA's multi-threat security bundle. Visit GTA.net or call 671-644-1000 for a free consultation today. Now, 642. Time to take a look at what's happening on your roadways. It's still fairly early to get out there, but what the heck, we'll look anyway because it's on the schedule. Not a whole lot happening up in the northern end of town. Very, very quiet in terms of traffic. Top end of my sing-song looks like things might be getting a little bit busier this morning. At the intersection, not so bad. Intersection 1 and 3 looking pretty groovy. 1 and 16, Micronesian Mall, likewise looking pretty groovy here this morning. Not a whole lot on Route 16, even 8, 10, and 16. The tri-intersection is running fairly clear. 4 and 10, nice intersection of that. That intersection is running fairly clear. And then you've got a little bit of traffic getting into the downtown Agutnia area. Very, very minor stuff here. Not a whole lot happening in Agutnia right now. Southbound Marine Corps Drive all the way to Big Navy and Sumai is running clear. So I'll keep this short. That's right now traffic. This is The Point.
Come try Guam's original Chamorro restaurant with Pica's best 5 years running. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice. Octopus to Naktak. Chamorro platter. And their award-winning gourmet hamburgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña and Grand Plaza Tumon location. Call their Hagåtña location at 479-2652 for reservations.
Half a day, this is Josh here at APL. Our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Can do 644 in the morning on screen right now, just in case you're curious. That's Peter Santos.
Oh, yeah, I recognize him.
Peter J. Santos is a policeman clothes.
Yeah, look at that body, Ray.
Like Tom Cruise in Top Gun. I want to see him play beach volleyball.
Smokey the Bear hat on.
And the Smokey the Bear hat when the police on Guam wore the Smokey the Bear hat. Whose idea was that when they did it? Was that Scamby?
Maybe.
Was that one of Scamby's deals? When,
yeah.
All right, if you're an old fart cop listening to the broadcast right now.
that was a traffic division that wore the Smokey
So just
hats.
those guys.
And training and the training guys.
All right,
the cadres.
So if you're old enough to remember which chief's idea that was, give me a beep, send it to me on the deal. I'm being corralled into giving correct information again. Post Canteen writing that the jackpot for the Queen of Hearts drawing for tomorrow night at 7 o'clock is $2,600. It's not $3,000. or almost $3,000.
That's a good roundup.
I'm just rounding it up, bro. $2,600 is almost what? How much did you win? Almost $3,000. Right? That's what I mean. So how old are you now? I'm going to say, the correct number is 60, but I'm going to say, whoa, almost 70. I'm rounding up to 70. Can I have my Social Security now? 6:45 in the morning. What was I supposed to do? Sell a car?
Nissan.
Let's go to NissanGuam.com and the World Wide Web. See what kind of rides they've got for you. You know what kind of ride everybody's looking for right now? An economical ride. I don't need something that goes fast, but they do. I don't need something that's got significant technology in the dashboard or significant safety features, but they do. I don't need something that's got that they can put together an incredible deal on, but they will at NissanGuam.com, and a whole bunch of those cars get better than 30 miles to the gallon, and that is the #1 selling point. So check them out today on the web, again, at NissanGuam.com.
Real Talk Radio is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Donovan Samir saying good luck to you this morning if you're going to be making your way to VFW. Tony and Annette and Pinko.
Hello, Biva. Where are they waving today?
Multiple Bivas. Is there waving today? Marla Carbolito online already waving. She's doing her thing, and she's not even running. Mark Cruz, Marvin Tuncap, Chech Uggan, Don LaRue is watching the program. So is John Santos, MT Farron, Vicente Pangilinan, Edwin Dietzel. We like to call him Bandit just because. And Gina San Nicolas is online. Hey. Where's the other pretty one? Where's the other Gina? Janine, where you at? Yeah, and Lauren, where's? I haven't had a chance to say good morning to the. Is that Ken trying to get back in?
I believe it is.
All right, let me go ahead and bring the guy. The other governor, Leon Guerrero, Ken LG's online. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, I wanted to commemorate the Bipolar Committee on Decolonization on their latest effort to free us from the oppression of being forced to accept billions of dollars of federal aid at 10 points.
Oh, wait, hold on, because I was thinking about you when I read this story. All right, it's a page 8. Yeah, this is a total eye roll story. The United Nations Special Committee on Decolonization was once again urged to help organize a visiting mission to Guam in order to assess firsthand grievances filed by indigenous residents and its own special rapporteurs. Melvin Juanpat Borja, director of the Commission on Decolonization, made the request on behalf of Governor Lulian Guerrero during the committee's regional seminar held earlier this month in Santa Lucia. First of all, where the hell is it? Where are we sending junkets to? Are we that fat with cash that we can send people to the Bahamas?
Well, let's put it this way: we probably spent somewhere around $50,000 to $75,000 on this junket to send people to free us. Now, you don't see the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration returning that $2 billion, as proof of their commitment to the Chamorro movement.
Right.
And then remember, this is the same committee that begged Spain to send representatives to Guam to commemorate the 500th anniversary of enslaving our people. So that's why I say bipolar. On one hand, the United States is the great oppressor for forcing us to accept billions of dollars of federal funds.
How dare they? Oh, my God, I feel enslaved by commerce.
And lifting our standards of living to the point where we are the golden eye, that we are the destination of choice in the Western Pacific, God forbid that we have, well, I was going to say electricity, but that's dubious. God forbid we have water, that's dubious if you're living down south. And roads, wait a minute, roads, we don't have roads. Dang, it's getting harder and harder to commemorate why we are Americans under this administration.
If it wasn't for the largesse of the greater American community, we would be driving on pothole-ridden roads here on Guam. If you take a look at Marine Corps Drive, and I'm going to drive this point home because I don't want anybody gaslighting you into thinking it's some kind of a gift from Adelup. All of the routed roads that are getting a lot of love and attention right now are getting a lot of love and attention because because there are federal funds behind all of that to help support and to make the natives feel better about the military buildup that we've got here, the Marine buildup here on Guam. But this idea, like I said, and as you adequately point out here, we've got a junket of guys in an actual department, an actual agency-level division of the government of Guam that is inviting the United Nations to Guam to show just how lousy we've got it under the American flag, while at the same time spending all of that money in an attempt to get them reelected.
By my estimates, we've probably spent over somewhere between $1.5 million and $2 million on this exercise in futility. Spent, high salaries, office space. Remember that $300,000 party for the choir at Dusatani, and where we invited all the other people from around the world. And don't forget our membership in the UNPO. That's only $50,000 a year to become part of that organization. I think somewhere around 50. Could be more, could be less. But the important thing is that all this largesse we are getting is not from the federal government. It's from 320 million taxpayers on the United States. They're the ones that are paying the taxes that the U.S. government is sending over here to Guam. So while we're using the money for pay raises and filling executive positions that are not needed in the time of pandemic, and massive retroactive pay raises to public officials and commemorative buildings and plaques and things like that, that money is not going to the purposes it was sent over here for. I mean, we're talking about using some of this money to offset the power increases. That's a good thing, but using the money to fund a series of pay raises that we can't afford down the road without making collateral changes in the structure of our government so that we can continue to afford those pay raises. My big fear is that after these federal funds have been expended, we're going to raise the gross receipts tax to 12% to afford all the funds that
you know what?
That
wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me, and it would be completely in line with the direction that things are going around here. Getting back to the article, Phil Leon Guerrero did the write-up on this. The local government requested the UN committee include and reference findings made by the special rapporteurs who expressed their serious concerns about Guam's ongoing military buildup in the absence of adequate consultation with the Chamorro people and the associated threats to indigenous lands, resources, environment, and cultural rights. See, the thing is, this thing has gone on for a long time, and these children don't remember the incredible lengths that the military took with just an endless series of town halls and get-togethers that they had in virtually every village of the island to put together all of the comments, and you might even recall having attended some of those things where they went, showed everybody what was going to be happening, where they were going to be building out all the non-confidential and secret material, and said, these are our plans. What are your comments? And they took those comments and they laid them out. What was that? 20,000 pages of comments that they addressed in this process.
Yeah, and don't forget, they had the online websites. They had online PowerPoint presentations that anybody could go to at any time from anywhere to be able to look at the accumulated information. And as you recall, they made a number of changes as a result of the input they were getting from the public.
They moved the range. They moved the firing range.
Yeah. You know what we didn't see? We didn't see any of these people from the UN come here and get firsthand knowledge. All those rocketeurs or whatever they are, they just did a Google search on Guam based on Melvin Juan Pat Borja's assertions and based on sitting in their offices in the UN building after going to a 5-star restaurant for lunch. And they sat down and banged out these.
Let's go watch. Yeah, let's go watch Cats again. 6:54 in the morning. You're getting hysterical now. Let me just calm you down. Let me get the last paragraph of this story. Here's
that song I put on the comments. It's a little parody of Josh's trip to the UN, his last one.
All right. All right. Well,
it's a parody of the independence movement for anybody that wants to take a look and laugh at this subject, because it's very laughable. Imagine where Guam would be, because coming into this administration, we had the GPA, GWA, behavior, health and welfare, the landfill.
Well, you're on a roll today.
And education, all under federal receivership for abusing funds and, putting the health and safety of our people at risk. And just imagine where this island would be if we didn't have that federal oversight, because it's the only thing that keeps our politicians in check.
I don't disagree.
But
we'll soon have the United Nations to help keep our people in check as well. Though this study was partially funded by the United States, our administering power has simultaneously prevented a self-determination plebiscite. No, they haven't. It's the one that you came up with was unconstitutional. Say what you want to about Dave Davis, but he was right. Yet continues to assert that Guam is self-governing. Nonetheless, we are grateful for the opportunity to raise awareness about the inequities that we face and believe that the study can be of great value to other non-self-governing territories. Well, isn't that great? It's 6:56 in the morning. Ken, I got to let you go. I talk to you pretty soon.
Okay.
All right. You have a great boy. He came out swinging, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Any time. And
haymakers, Ray.
I get 4 hours to do this. For Ken, he only gets a couple of minutes on the radio. But yeah, I looked at that story this morning as I rolled my eyes. What a waste of money. What a consistently over all of these years, it's been nothing but a waste of time and money sending these children that don't know nothing about anything to go and stand before the United Nations and do the what do they call that? It's like. Poetry slam over at we're going to the United Nations. We're going to do a poetry slam,
deaf poetry,
and skits. We'll do skits for the United Nations. Hey, can I get one of those blue helmets? Can I get one of those things? Yeah, UN can't do anything about anything. The U.S. is sovereign, and this place flies the flag of the United States of America, and that's the way it is. And my guess is there's a significant chunk of the population that don't want it to change at all. Oh, we're going to be independent. And all these people that are in charge of ruining our lives now, imagine if they didn't have the checks and balances system and every once in a while a traffic cop from the United States government to say, no, you cannot do that. See, this Constitution, I'd hate to imagine what a future under those circumstances could be like. 6:57 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK. Are there items in the table of contents that are worth looking at? Yeah, I suppose. Big stories here, the obvious ones, front page of the newspaper. A guy dies in a car crash yesterday. Sad news. That was one of the things that was rolling around on my phone yesterday when I woke up. Got word from the police department that somebody had gone off the road, hit a pole, and died as a result of it. And there will be, I'm sure, multiple ways to look at this and different things to get to from this. I just wonder why did we put those poles so close to the roadway? And we don't have a whole lot of guardrails in some places that will prevent the car from hitting the pole. And they go with these things at speed. You know, one of the things that I remember looking at, and I did a study in my head because it was one of those things I'd fret about every time. And somebody from the University of Guam actually came and said, yeah, I kind of did the math as well. If you lost control, as an example, you're coming in Route 16 and you're passing the post office and you're making your way towards Happy Mart, and you got all of those poles and they're so darn close together. And here's the thing. I mean, if you lost control any significant way, chances are pretty good you could not miss one of those utility poles. And it's not a whole lot between you and the Almighty when something like that happens. So I'm wondering, maybe there ought to be a study conducted by, I don't know, somebody in the government that's got more time than I do. Maybe Melvin Wanpel will here do something useful with your time. Count up the number of accidents that have taken lives.
It's not a new thing. Jesse Anderson Lujan, when he was a sitting senator, introduced a measure that would address those poles. He was actually teased a lot because he called them killer poles.
Yes.
But he wanted to move them further off the road because there were too many people who were crashing right into them. Not only
concur, I remember getting him on the radio and agreeing with him. I said, "This is we need to do this."
Yeah, and then on top of that, they obstruct the pathway if you're on a sidewalk. So
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Just agree.
It's going to be expensive, Ray.
I don't care. One life. If we save one life. If that's the, just throw that old Democratic thinking out there. If we were to save but one life by putting some kind of a guardrail in or around or near all of these poles. Of course, there's the idea that we're going to get a whole lot of cars hitting these guardrails, and then we're going to have to look at these snaggletooth guardrails like we often do for years and years at a time. Hey, it's 7. Here's Fox News on the point.
Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Biden just confirming they will visit Texas tomorrow after the killing of 19 children and 2 teachers in the town of Uvalde at an elementary school yesterday. Texas Governor Greg Abbott holding a briefing in the town today.
We as a state, we as a society need to do a better job with mental health. Anybody who shoots somebody else has a mental health challenge. Period.
The specific motive for the Texas shooting remains under investigation. The 18-year-old gunman shot his grandmother before going to the school. She's among 17 people injured. The president's remarks coming as he signed an executive order on police reform, including a call for a national law enforcement accountability database.
I don't know any good cop who likes a bad cop. But for many people, including many families here, such accountability is all too rare. That's why I promised as president I would do everything in my power to enact meaningful police reform that is real and lasting.
Today marks 2 years since the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. A recount is planned in Pennsylvania's tight Republican primary for U.S. Senate.
A total of 902 votes separate Mehmet Oz and David McCormick in that Senate race. Acting Pennsylvania Secretary of State Lee Chapman says as far as the procedure,
the law requires that County Board of Elections recount all ballots using a different device than the initial tabulation, or they can recount by hand.
The process must be complete by June 7th and submitted by the following day. It was also confirmed that more than 10,000 ballots, absentee and provisional, remain uncounted, meaning a potential for a swing in Senate race results.
Fox's Gernal Scott. America is listening to Fox News.
Half a day, this is Honey. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
On March 4th, Guam Homeland Security sent an advisory warning about Russian cyber attacks and recommended Guam organizations strengthen their cybersecurity postures. You might think your small business isn't at risk, but as businesses use more cloud and web-based tools, they're exposed to cyber attacks designed to snare victims of any size. Keep your organization protected with GTA's multi-threat security bundle. Visit gta.net or call 671-644-1000 for a free consultation today.
A pledge from the FBI director at a Senate hearing after 2 recent mass shootings.
As the horrific attack a little over a week ago in Buffalo shows, we've got to continue to stay laser focused on our efforts to counter violence motivated by hate and extremism.
But Director Christopher Wray also tells lawmakers there's no single answer to the threat from lone wolf actors who sometimes have more than one motive. The FDA commissioner admitting a slow response to safety concerns that ultimately led to the shutdown of a major baby formula plant in Michigan. Robert Califf testifying at another congressional hearing.
Lawmakers asking why it is taking 4 months after an inspection of the plant in late January to reopening it. And even still, it's going to be weeks, possibly months, before Americans see baby formula fully restocked on retailer shelves.
We're now importing, we're flying military planes and other planes to pick it up and bring it in. And we just have to keep filling in until we get to the point that the production is up.
Now, currently, about 45% of the nation's baby formula supply is out of stock, but some states like Virginia, it's much higher, 58% of the supply out of stock there.
Fox Business's Lydia Hu. Formula makers also testifying today, apologizing to parents and saying they are increasing capacity. Former reality TV star Josh Duggar just sentenced to more than 12 years in prison. He was convicted of receiving and possessing child pornography. Prosecutors wanted the maximum 20 years. The Duggar family was the focus of TLC's 19 Kids and Counting. Duggar's lawyers wanted a 5-year sentence. He has maintained his innocence and said he will appeal. Stocks finished higher. The Dow up 191. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
$15 might not get you that far, but Chili's is bucking the trend with $15 meal deals. At Chili's, $15 gives you not one, not two, but 3-course meal deals complete with a drink, a starter, and an entree. Mix and match 3-course meals 15 ways to Sunday with soup, salad, or chips and salsa to start, and ranchero chicken tacos, honey chipotle crispers with rice, bacon ranch quesadillas, or personal fajitas for the main course. Build your own $15 meal deal at Chili's. More life and great value happen here.
Check out the newest hydro and garden center to hit Guam, Crop King Hydro. We have a huge selection of plant nutrients, soils, hydroponic mediums, organic pest control pumps, plant support, tools, and so much more. Call 635-4769. 635-GROW. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6 at the Dededo Satina Mall, right across from Payless and Paradise Fitness. For whatever you grow, think Crop King Hydro. Crop King Hydro.
Half a day. Patsy Gogui from Security Title here with information about what a title company does. The title side of our business determines who owns the property and guarantees your ownership with a title insurance policy. The escrow side acts as an independent third party, managing the transfer of money and documents between the buyer, seller, lenders, and others. Security Title has a management of real estate closings down to a science. Give us a call. We are here to help.
Half a day at 7:06. I'm Montesova Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. Police are investigating a fatal crash that took place yesterday in Dededo. A 29-year-old man was said to have been killed in the car crash. He was a lone occupant of a vehicle that ran off the road and struck a concrete utility pole near Isangsong. Police will determine whether speed or alcohol were factors in the crash. The Guam Daily Post reports that medics performed CPR on the man while he was rushed to GRMC. However, he was pronounced dead by an attending physician upon his arrival. The man's name has not yet been released. Meanwhile, Joint Region Marianas officials have confirmed that a woman who was talked off of a ledge at Two Lovers Point this weekend was in fact a sailor with the U.S. Navy. She remains admitted to the hospital where she's under observation. The woman handed over her baby to authorities while at the ledge of the cliff. However, the 1-year-old died shortly after. The woman's name has not been released, but police continue their death investigation into the child. Joint Region says that they are cooperating with police in the investigation. It was on Sunday morning emergency officials were called to the Two Lovers Point about 6:45 on a report of a distraught woman who was on the ledge with her child. Authorities took a couple hours to talk the woman to safety. Meanwhile, Guam's 362nd COVID-related fatality was recorded. Was a 55-year-old man who was said to be fully vaccinated and did not have a booster shot. He also had underlying health conditions, and he passed away when he was brought to the hospital. Well, more news right after this.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they will continue to be there for you in the years to come. Get a personal loan for that summer vacation or to pay off those long overdue bills. Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,900 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña, now at the old Nanbo Insurance Building at 475-4545, Upper Tumon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, here to serve you.
At least one officer with the Department of Corrections may face disciplinary actions after it was determined through an internal affairs investigation that security protocols were violated when a detainee was able to escape from the Manilao prison. DOC is taking further steps toward disciplinary action. It was last month where 22-year-old K.D. Arson was able to flee the Manilao compound. He was being detained in connection with a stabbing that took place. He was out about an hour before authorities were able to pick him up. He now faces charges of felony escape, eluding a police officer, and reckless driving. Also, a 19-year-old man who was connected to a string of robberies could spend the rest of his life in jail. Eddie Addy facing a maximum sentence of 70 years behind bars. Authorities say that he was the gunman involved in an armed robbery that took place in Tamuning earlier this year. The gun he used, they say, was an airsoft gun. He was convicted on charges of second and third degree robbery, terrorizing, and theft. Each conviction includes special allegation of possession and use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. He will be in court this afternoon for his sentencing. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
Well, thank you very much. Let me get some of that weather stuff on the screen here. Now, Landon sent in a note. We were talking last hour about when will this, I don't want to call it a heat wave, but it's hot. It's getting hot in here. And he said, if you listen to Christmas music, it will take 5 degrees off. So do me a favor, lower that music and bring up the noise coming from the meme machine. And let's see. Is it working? Are you starting to feel cooler?
Yeah.
Is this a little bit of just...
I'm starting to feel the money just flowing right out of my wallet. Stop the music.
Oh, 18 grandkids to buy goodies for. Plus, you got to do shopping for me because I never buy anybody anything until the day before Christmas. And I say, Monty, here's money. Go shopping for me. So maybe that'll help for you. There are, if you go to YouTube right now, you can go to YouTube anytime you want to, but if you go to YouTube and just search for Christmas music, there are things. It's perfect for maybe a morning like this. Oh my God, you freak out the family. When they start waking up and coming to the breakfast table, is what's going on? Why are we playing Christmas music? But you've been in a coma for 6 months, and it's
Welcome
Christmas.
back.
Welcome back. It's so good to have you back. What do you want for breakfast, kids? Just change everything out. Just change all of the calendars and the clocks in the house. Make it say it's December the 25th. Come on. It'd be a fun prank. Where are we? 7:11 in the morning. Let me get you the real weather. And sorry, this is not a prank. This is the for real stuff here. Scattered showers in the forecast. Doesn't mean we're going to get them. They're just in the forecast to make you feel better. Mostly cloudy skies. Highs near 88 degrees. East-southeast winds up to about 11 miles an hour today. 5 to 8 miles an hour tonight. Where we've got mostly cloudy skies in the forecast as well. I got my fingers crossed. There's enough clouds in there to provide just a little bit of cover over the island so that we're not all just feeling like we're frying out there. Unless you're at the beach, and then I don't want any clouds at all in the forecast. Mostly cloudy for tomorrow. Highs near 88 degrees. Now with the heat index today and tomorrow, it's going to feel like 96 degrees. There is a 30% chance of rain. Sunrise this morning coming up nice all over the Marianas at 5:53. The sunset tonight is going to be at 6:43. Hashtag tell the others. It's 7:12 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. Be right back.
Attention! Lolita Kamet is now with Half-A-Day Realty. She'll always be that hardworking and passionate real estate professional who is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, military, and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Kamet now with Half-A-Day Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
In celebration of our 33rd anniversary, BK's new Whopper Melts are here. Our Whopper Melts feature 2 slices of toasted bread layered with 2 Whopper Junior patties for a quarter pound of plain grilled beef, milky American cheese, caramelized onions, and stacker sauce. Whopper Melts now available in a spicy and bacony variation made for our big Whopper fans. Top off your meal with jalapeno cheddar bites and a refreshing Coca-Cola. Get your hands on the new Whopper Melts now available for a limited time. BK, Tumon Bay, Aganya, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. BK your way.
Okay, I will. Portions of the program are brought to you by APL, American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by the guys over at Chili's, wanting to help you celebrate your graduate. How do you do that? Well, just take them to the second floor of the Tumon Sands Plaza and say, I got to graduate here from the class of 2022. I don't think they're going to ask for a diploma or anything like that. They just say, okay, fine, cool, graduate. They get to eat free. So you go and enjoy that. More celebrations, more happening at Chili's.
Getting you back to the talk faster. It's the Ray Gibson Show.
Shouldn't he say the Ray Gibson? It's not the. We changed that. There was a time early in this particular broadcast where I would try to be humble and say no. So people would come up to me and say, "Aren't you the Ray Gibson?" And I'm like, no. A guy from the village with an interesting job, just the Ray Gibson. That's fine. You don't have to put a "the" in front of it. But if I changed my mind about that. If I've decided that if you're going to bother putting a "the" in front of my name, then make it kind of the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you would be addressing an emperor or a head of state, the yes. Ray Gibson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, groovy. Glad that we've got that out of the way. 7:15 in the morning in the Ray Gibson Show. Sorry, the Ray Gibson Show. 888-825-5888-TALK is the telephone number around these parts. And normally around this time, we'd like to tell you about what's happening in the world of business and commerce. And I may yet get around to doing that. However, in keeping with a nod that I gave to our very good friend and constant listener of the program, former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez, as I said, I believe that it would be pointless for the governor to do a State of the Island address if she did not pick out key stars in her administration. Among them, I'll Dave Del Sola, for sure, over at the Department of Labor.
Absolutely.
The guy was in charge of an incredible amount of spend that put money from the federal government into the hands of just a gigantic population of people who suddenly found themselves without a job. Daphne Shimitsu over at the Department of Revenue and Taxation, I think, has done an outstanding job. Given all of the issues that she's got to deal with, and then having to do all of that stuff and provide someplace. Sadly, the lines are still long, and I don't know if anybody's answering the phones out there. But otherwise, she's able to bring in the money and get the money out in tax refunds. But you get guys like Carl Gutierrez, Jerry Perez, and the team over at the Guam Visitors Bureau, and I'm going to say that a lot of this has to do with what they've been able to do here. We've got Koreans that are lining up now to get into Guam to do their revenge travel. I don't know what flight this was, what airlines they brought these guys in on. I can't really tell by looking if any of them are pregnant, but hey, birthing tourism, it's a thing. But I'm just excited to see pictures like this, and I am getting to hear from people that live and work in the Tumon area that they are getting used to seeing more and more Korean travelers on the roadways. Hope to get more Japanese travelers. We've had a whole bunch of influencers and supermodels come out to Guam in the last few days. And if you follow any of those things, if you like hashtag Guam on Instagram, if you follow that, you will see some of the people that have become pretty good friends of mine hanging out with movers and shakers and headline makers here on Guam, and taking pictures of themselves. My buddy Takayaki has got a picture. I want to say it's over at the swimming pool at the Hyatt. Outstanding. Him and this other like supermodel from Japan, and with gazillions of followers, and they're going, well, if Guam's good enough for Taco, then maybe it's going to be good enough for me. 7:16 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. Who's on the phone? It's early for phone. Kiko
on he wants to talk about the power.
Right. Oh, fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to it. Good morning. Buenos días, Kiku.
Hey, half a day. I was just curious because about this power, and I've been pondering about it, and I've been having a problem with my bill. Okay.
Yeah.
And looking at the bill, okay. You got the 500, first 500, and the LEA Act, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can anybody explain me what LEA Act is?
Levelized electricity, something this.
Levelized Energy Adjustment Clause.
Thank you very much. No, yes, basically, it's what they're paying for the fuel. So you've got the rate.
I kind of now the problem is, okay, when you get your power bill, you get their power bill, your exact power bill that you use, right? That's where the 500. Is that correct?
I'm sorry. Repeat the question.
When your power bill, when you pay your bill, there's your the $30-something and the whatever the power that you use on there, and then the LEA Act.
Yes.
Okay. Is the LEA Act like a big tax for us?
No.
That we're paying on?
No. That portion of your bill tells you how much they are charging to recover what they have spent for the oil that made the electricity. So you've got two parts. Sometimes can be kind of confusing, Kiko. Well, you got two parts. This is the rate. This is what you are being charged by the Power Authority, so that they can string the lines and have people administer and go and cut down trees underneath the lines. All of the things that the business of the agency does. And then you've got this other surcharge, which is the fuel. They don't make any money on that. The money comes in, and they use that to buy fuel in Singapore, and then it goes back out to go and buy some more.
Okay, because the way I look at it, okay, they charge us over the total consumption. Okay? Look at just picture that in your mind. The total consumption, they charge us the 35 and whatever the other 500 dollars, and then on top of that, they charge us the jack. Okay, so how could they charge us for the total consumption on a pie that we already paid for over again?
I'm sorry. I'm missing the point here. So they added up all of the numbers on all of the different charges, including the rate and including the LEAC, and they add all of that stuff, and that's what you owe the Power Authority for the electricity and the oil that they burn to make the electricity.
Okay, because like I said, my power bill went from last year, okay, or in 2021, from $200 to the end of the year $700.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what is the LEAC?
That's what we'll call the Biden tax, if you want to. When Joe Biden became the president of the United States of America, I'm trying to remember what the consumption of what they were charging in the LEAC when Biden was in office. But since Biden has been in office, we stopped drilling a whole lot of oil in the United States of America and had to start buying oil again from all kinds of foreign countries. There is a lot of upward pressure on the price of West Texas crude, and that is what the price of our oil is based on. It's not surprising that the LEAC has gone up because the cost of oil worldwide has gone up.
Well, Ray, what I'm trying to get to right now, there's a lot of people in Guam that are having problems with power bill. Okay, their power, they don't know how much is going to go up the next month. I've heard people that they don't stay in the house, and I have a $700 power bill. How does it raise up so high in no time?
No, it's not in no time. I mean, this has been going on for the last year and a half. We have watched, and you can go to oilprices.com on the web and take a look at what the price of West Texas crude has been. Literally, since Joe Biden has been in office, it's gone up 100%.
I understand what you're trying to say, but what I said, the thing is how can the consumer handle that kind of from like I said, I was used to paying $300 a month.
Yeah.
Now it jumped up $700, $600. Everybody's complaining. Why did it go up $300 more?
Because of the price of oil, that has gone up. That is the key figure. They haven't changed the actual rate that they charged since 2013. That's what So everything is in the oil, in that LEAC component. That's where all of the change has taken place, and it is not suddenly. This has been going on for some time now. And how do you control it? It's my DPA. I want to say that Tracy's going to give me the name of it again. But there's a website that I go to that will show you on a daily basis what's happening with the electricity in your house. It will show you. MyEnergy.com. Thanks, Jerry. It's MyEnergy.com. You sign up for it. Give them, your customer number and a password, and before you know it, you'll be able to see what's going on. So you can chart on a daily basis what's happening with your electricity. You can see when you turn on the hot water heater. You can see when the air conditioning goes on. You ought to be able to even track when, if you get pretty good at it, when the iron goes on, so you can iron your shirt. Lots of ways to do that. There's not much that can be done on the producer side. I think there's it's all demand side on your side now. That's where the control is going to be.
Well, let me tell you something right now. I invested on a system called Impura. It's your home system that comes out of your panel box, not off the meter.
Mm-hmm.
Off the meter, and that will tell you real-time usage on your power.
Oh, I want one.
I bought that because, like I said, I need to find out how much power I'm consuming because, it's outrageous. My kilowatts went from 30 to 90 kilowatts. And I tried to get them to explain, how did I get there and I will pay my power bill.
Did they come by and do an audit? Did they take your meter out and calibrate it, make sure it's calibrated?
Well, no, they checked it. You know what? Like I said, they calibrated. They took it to their. They took it to their shop. I went there and looked at it. But did they take it to my house where I'm using the power instead of the computer?
Yeah.
There's a difference in there.
Well, I tell you what, I've got your phone number, and I'll pass it along to people I've got that I've got in contact with over at the Power Authority, and see if there's anything else that they might be able to do for you, Kiko.
Well, everybody over there, I didn't get nowhere because they didn't give me no answer why my power bill went up so high.
Well, I'm trying to tell you the part of it that I'm aware of, and that would be LEAC.
Yeah, like I said, they tell me the same thing you're telling me.
Because that's the answer, I think.
Well, like I said, they're the only one, and where else can you go? Like I said, right now, the power that you're paying for, the actual power they say you're paying for, is double in the LEAC Act.
Yes, because of oil.
Just do the math, like I said. And LEAC Act is something that they are charging us. That's for the fuel that they're going to buy for us. We buy that fuel for them. They turn around next month and charge us for it.
Yeah. Apparently, the answer I'm getting now is, and I've got to run here. We've got other things to get to in the program. I appreciate the time, Kiko. He says, you're just using a lot of power. That's not the word that they're using. It's a technical term, something load. Blank load of power is being consumed over at your house, and it's being consumed over at mine. I had one of those days last week as well where normally my kilowatt-hour consumption at the house might be 50 a day or something like that. And these days, is almost every day. Is a 50 kilowatt hour day at the house. I had one the other day, and it was 80 kilowatt hours that day. And multiply that times, how many days are there in a week? How many days are there in a month? I'm literally afraid to open my power bill this month. I think I'm just going to write a number in my head and send that to GPA. Meantime, there are alternatives. There's a couple of companies on Guam. Be more than happy to come over and take a look at your roof and figure out how many solar panels they can put on it, and then you can have KPA. That's Kiko's Power Authority as opposed to GPA. 7:25 in the morning. Jerry Roberts in the studio. Very, very quickly, we'll go over some of the numbers. It wasn't a bad day on the market here today. We got the Dow Jones Industrial Average kicking up 191 points to close at 32,120. NASDAQ up by 170, and the S&P 500 closed 37 points in the green. Many of the other markets are looking good. The only one that's down right now is the Nikkei, off by 70 points. Otherwise, FTSE, the Hang Seng, Shanghai, and the DAX index are all trading up. Big winners on the NASDAQ. Zoom, DocuSign, Intuit, Palo Alto, and NVIDIA Corporation. Looks like we got some good hardware companies that are in the mix here today. Gold trading at $1,852 for an ounce. I've got oil at $110.74 for West Texas crude. Now, I'm going to click on that and then take you back to where we were maybe a year ago, give you an idea of what the crude prices were in that time. Might have to click on a different index here on the screen. In the meantime, Real Joe's going to give me a look at what's going on with Bitcoin.
$29,751.
$29,751. Today is the 27th of May in 2022. A year ago, West Texas crude was trading at $66.85. Wow. Today it is trading at $110. Oh, so it's about double what it was last year. And that's what the LEAC does, is it kind of rides as much as it can what's happening with West Texas crude. And then, unfortunately, that's a cost that they've got to pass on to you. 727. Did I get all that right, Real Joe, Real Jerry Roberts? We don't want to get into it. Whatever. Never mind, Kiko. Ayade is all we can say about that one. That's what's going on. And who do we thank? Let's go, Brandon, as the coffee cup in front of me says. Jerry Roberts is in the studio, and it must be time for the extra point.
Well, before it is, I want to give a shout-out to some folks at Simon Sanchez High School. Teacher Eric Chong, who is just a great teacher, and he's also a big encouragement to me. In the work that I do here at the Point, and also on the Post, the weekly column, and he's been kind of feeding those columns and things and the things of the Point into the students. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I did a thing by Zoom because that's what we were doing last year with one of his graduating classes, and on Monday I was up there and we had a couple of sessions with his seniors and talking about getting into the workplace and how to get further and do better and things, and just great kids. Great kids and really bright, articulate,
What school is this?
Simon Sanchez.
Nice. Yeah,
really impressed.
The kids and the teachers at Simon Sanchez have always struck me as several steps ahead of their cohorts. So that's not a surprising thing to hear. They're among some that have been politically active, getting out there and doing demonstrations and marches to get the attentions of the lawmakers around here to actually do something finally about that derelict of a school they got.
Well, and I was asking the question. I said, what are you going to do when it's time to build, right? Which I guess is coming up. And they said, they're just going to kind of build it here, and they'll be going to school here. Yeah. And then when it's time to occupy the new school, they just knock down the other school, apparently. So they got that kind of they have that kind of land up there they can do that with. So that's good.
Well, I'm still waiting to see what the plan looks like, the A&R, and then I think they've got the money to get everything going.
I think so.
Unfortunately, I don't think Mark Mendiola and John Fernandez are going to be there for that transition.
No.
Somebody else will get to do the groundbreaking and the ribbon cutting. At 7:29, Jerry Roberts is in.
You want to go to Mono? Yeah,
do we? I got to ask the producer. He's the one that lines everything up. Where do you want to go?
What does Mono want to do?
What does Mono want to do?
I'd like to go home. I mean, since you're
but
your
wish is granted. The people over at the University of Guam, the UOG Endowment Foundation, have got a series of Empowered Women Wednesday, and yesterday's Empowered Woman for Wednesday was none other than Senator Montecito.
I don't know how that happened. I mean, it was just such a sweet honor, but. God, I am so undeserving. But thank you for that. That was that was really a surprise.
It was a surprise to me, and that's why I sent it to you today. We feature Senator Montecito Tyron, who has been a lifelong resident of Island of Guam and covered issues as a radio and television reporter for half of her lifetime. She was elected senator in the 31st Guam legislature for a term, but has never stopped serving for our island since then. In April 2013, she was elected as the Guam Economic Development Authority Deputy Administrator with a mission to develop a sustainable economy through innovative patterns of preservation and promotion of cultural and economic opportunities in aims of quality life on the island. Then it goes on to say a bunch of other nice things. But thank you very much for acknowledging. Did you want me to read the whole thing?
No. Okay. But that was really nice. And
it says Senator Montecito Tyron.
There are so many other people who are far more deserving than I, but it was very nice.
Well, maybe help them out, like anybody.
Thank you.
Off the top of your head, just back.
Arlene Steffi.
Arlene Steffi, very good.
Arlene Steffi is amazing.
You want to talk about an empowered woman.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Jerry Roberts and I know that empowered woman going back 50 years.
I worked with her too, and so she's just such an amazing person that I've worked with and continues to do, cover our history and our culture here.
Yep. There you go.
So I just love watching her.
Maybe that'll be Empowered Woman Wednesday for next week, Arlene Steffi. 7:31 in the morning. All right, we'll take a quick look at headlines with Montecito Tyron, brought to you by Burger King, celebrating 33 years of empowering women. They hit the drive-thru on Mondays and do all of that stuff. Don't forget they get the Whopper melt deals going. And Lolita Cabot, there's another empowered woman that you can find over at Half a Day Realty, working with other empowered women and a bunch of other folks to make your real estate dreams come true at Half a Day Realty. Bringing you now the 7:30 news. Here's Montecito Tyron.
Well, police are investigating a fatal crash that took place yesterday in Dededo that claimed the life of a 29-year-old man. The man was a lone occupant of a vehicle that slammed into a concrete pole near Isangsong. The man's name hasn't been released. Meanwhile, Joint Region confirms a woman who was coaxed off the ledge at Two Lovers Point is a Navy sailor. The woman is still in the hospital under observation. Her 1-year-old baby was said to have died. An autopsy will determine how, in fact, that child died. And an internal affairs investigation has taken place at the Department of Corrections following an escape of a detainee earlier this year. DOC says an officer allegedly violated security protocols at the time the detainee was able to get away. Disciplinary action is on its way. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
I got you. Let me see here. 7:32. Lots of commentary coming in. Dave Sablon writing in about the LEAC average of the cost of fuel over the course of 6 months. I believe it's a moving average. So as the cost of fuel rises or goes down, the spikes up or down are levelized, and that average cost is what the particular month is what we are charged. Objective is not to pass these spikes in the cost of fuel oil to the consumers, but to have us pay it gradually over the course of 6 months. So GPA recoups that cost of fuel oil burned over 6 months. As new oil is mixed into the inventory, that new cost is averaged and charged monthly. Unfortunately, as the cost of fuel oil increases dramatically, The LEAC formula will try to recover that cost more quickly, so they always have a ton of cash readily available to pay the higher price of fuel oil based on Platts Oil Grams Price Index in their oil supply contract. And thanks very much, Dave, for the super technical analysis of what the LEAC does and why. But the nuts and bolts of it come down to we have to buy oil, and it's indexed to West Texas crude, and West Texas has doubled in value in just 365 days.
Waste energy.
Let's burn it. Let's burn that trash, and then we don't have to buy oil for, what is it, 40 megawatts or something like that? Just a thought, maybe. It's time now for Jerry Roberts to take care of the Extra Point. You're being brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank. A reminder, they're making a core upgrade to all of their banking systems. Go to fhb.com/core to find out how you might be affected this weekend. Now with the Extra Point. Jer?
There are people in life who will be happy to try to manipulate us, control us, and if they can, to reject us. There are more than enough people in life who will stand in the way of us realizing our dreams. What we need to be very sure about is that we, you and I, are not one of them. We'll get to that next on the Extra Point.
Get big discounts on huge travel experiences with the First Hawaiian Bank United Credit Card. You can travel to destinations in the USA and receive 10% off selected United Airlines Premium Economy or Business Class airfares purchased through May 31st, 2022 when you use promo code FHB022. Visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or go to fhb.com/UnitedFairSale10 for more information. Don't wait. Apply today. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes.
Question, do you have a dream? Yes. Question, you got a plan? Yes. Question, do you have a timeline for that plan? If statistics hold true for the group of people who hear this episode of The Extra Point, the number who can answer yes to that last question is about 3%. A 1979 Harvard survey of a class of MBA program students asked this: have you set clear written goals for your future and made plans to accomplish them? The study revealed the following. 3% of students had written goals and plans. 13% had unwritten goals. 84%, no goals at all. 10 years later, the 3% of individuals with written goals had a higher net worth than the other 97% combined. The 13% with unwritten goals earned twice as much as the 84% with no goals. Ready for this? The 3% with written goals and plans earned 10 times as much as all the others put together. I don't make this stuff up. I've been saying it for years. Written goals and plans matter. If you can marry those written plans up to a strong desire to succeed, an attitude that you will not be denied, and the willingness to get going, your chance to succeed skyrockets. My mother had solid values, a great work ethic, and she had the gift of being able to look at something and figure out a way to improve it. She designed a number of products, and she was sure one of them would be a big hit. The problem was she was timid about taking the steps needed to make all of that a reality. Inventing is a complicated business, and she never pursued it. Instead, she watched each of her ideas eventually come to market years after she had come up with it. Do you have a dream? Somebody once wrote, "The graveyard is the richest place on earth because it is here that you will find all the hopes and dreams that were never fulfilled, the books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the inventions that were never shared, the cures that were never discovered, all because somebody was too afraid to take that first step, keep up with the problem, or determined to carry out their dream." It doesn't have to be a product. It doesn't have to be a book, a song, a cure, or anything like that. It might be that you want to be the manager at a local company or government agency, or the CEO. Maybe you want to homeschool your kids. What is your dream? Most successful people have been rejected by others who didn't share their vision. Okay, some people may not get what you want to do. Some people may not get you. This is to be expected. It's normal. Move on and find the one who will say yes. What is tragic is when we say no to ourselves. We convince ourselves that whatever it is that we wanted just wasn't meant to be. It wasn't our time. It wasn't too hard, it was too hard, too expensive. I'm too young, too old, don't have the smarts, don't have the connections, don't have whatever. Some of us will always find a reason to justify our choices. Now, maybe this doesn't describe you. Maybe you have no issues in grabbing the world by the tail and doing whatever it takes to win. On the other hand, maybe these words are personal for you or someone close to you. Don't be the one who rejects your dreams. Write down your plans and attach a timeline. Then take the first step, even if it makes you want to pass out. Then take another step. British journalist William Cobbett said, "You never know what you can do until you try." So what's your dream? And what are you going to do about it? That's the extra point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
On the coffee table at the house is a binder, and in the binder are a number of goals that I set out for myself over the course of the year to get taken care of, and I'm happy to say that I've chipped away at many of those, and I still got another 6.5 months of the year to go.
There you go.
Yeah, and so maybe I will complete everything, or I'll use that to launch into 2020. Wow, 3. Wow. Crazy number in my head. All right, listen, at 7:39 in the morning, Jerry Robertson, another great extra point. You'll be able to find transcripts of that and contact information if you'd like to have him in your class or your business with your employees at guamtraining.com on the World Wide Web. Now, 20 away from the top of the hour. We'll head into traffic and more on the other side.
JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, traffic signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
Win a $100 gas card when you purchase Gasolina energy drinks. Be one of 5 winners and enter now when June 21st. Free gas with 76 Circle K. Take it easy. Get a 10-pound bag of ice for only 95 cents when you purchase a 12-pack or more of any soda or beer. Only 95 cents for a 10-pound bag of ice. Swing by Circle K today. Some conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Ice, baby.
20 away from 8 o'clock in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. It must be time to take a look at what's happening on traffic. Going to be a little bit easier getting around here this morning. Won't cost you so much gas sitting in traffic lines. But the other side of that is the kids are at home and they've got the air conditioner going about 62 degrees and everything is on. Every light in the house is blazing right now, and that's why Kiko's power bill continues to be going up. All right, let me get the gizmo up on the screen so that I can see what's going on here. 888-8255. There it is. Anything up in the Jigo direction? No, doesn't look like everybody that needed to get out of Jigo is out of town already. A little bit of traffic on Marine Corps Drive as you get closer to the intersection of 1 and 3, but it will open up a little busy up again before you get past the Micronesia Mall and the burger places into Upper Tumon and then Tamuni. Maybe a little bit of traffic over at the intersection with the airport. It's always busy there these days. A lot of construction going on. Want to see what's happening there. Want to see if they're going to build a sidewalk for our Korean tourists one of these days. 8, 10, and 16 running a little bit busy on the Happy Mart side, a little bit of stop and go on Route 8 into the downtown area. Route 4 running fairly clear. And then we've got Agano, which is looking good. Just a little bit of traffic over at Big Navy in Sumai right now. Good day to drive, 741 on the point.
Is your business ready for digital transformation? The latest Wi-Fi technology is here, and it's Docomo Pacific's WorkPass, powered by Plume. WorkPass unlocks connectivity, productivity, and security tools all in the palm of your hand. Access features like adaptive Wi-Fi, guest and employee networks, evolving AI security, plus so much more. To learn more about WorkPass, visit business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
The Federal Reserve is starting to increase interest rates to fight inflation, but they're still so low, making it the perfect time to refinance your home, to lower your rate, and perhaps take advantage of its increased value to put some cash in your pocket during these uncertain times. Cash that you can have the freedom to access when you want, where you want, with your Bank Pacific Visa debit card. Lower your rate with cash in your pocket. Access your cash when you want, where you want, with your Visa debit card. Brothers put branches, we place roots, and we're rooting for you. Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply.
Facebook viewers, great to have you online. YouTube side is cranking as well. Who's your Big Daddy 06 hanging out with James Howard and who else we got? Kitsutsu in Japan. Rico B on that side as well, saying good morning to everybody. Mel Young, top of the morning, and describing the pink mist every once in a while that we talk about in the weather imagery. Says pink mist is what you see when a bomb tech screws up. Kaboom! Oh, wow. Ouch, he says. Lupang Guam hanging out. What are we saying? Hey, Ray, maybe you discussed this already, but I missed it. What is the construction going on at EPAL Park, Governor Joseph Flores Memorial Park? And the answer is, I don't know. I didn't see any construction going on.
It's not a missile site, Ray?
THAAD. Maybe that's
THAAD.
where they're going to park the THAAD, right there at EPAL. I don't know. Governor Gutierrez is listening. Maybe he'll tell me what's going on. I'm hoping it's an Arby's. It's a Lupang Kwong. You know, if you got to hope for something. Yes, Arby's. I already talked about Arby's. Last time I was in the States, I went to the Arby's like every single day because every single sandwich that they made was, oh, my God, delicious. How come we don't have one of those things out here? Don't we need more Howleys from the States to come before they put an Arby's here? Is that what we need?
Yeah.
Bring a couple more ships. Give us a couple more submarines or something like that, and then we will hit critical Howley mass on Guam, and then we will have an Arby's. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe what's the chicken place that I like? Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is what I like to call the
on
thing.
Sundays.
You know what? That's okay. You just go Saturday and buy extra, so you got something for the next day. But it's not so much the chicken. Chicken is good. But I got to say, it's the sauce that goes with the chicken.
The sauce
there, and Bojangles, which I got addicted to when I was in the state when I hang out with my old man in North Carolina. First stop is usually a Bojangles. Got a big box of stuff, and they got this North Carolina sweet tea that comes in this huge jug. That
sweet tea
takes you 18 days to finish, and you can feel your cavities when you drink this stuff.
Sun-brewed on the porch tea.
It's that sweet. 7:45 in the morning. Speaking of sweet, hey, cousin Troy's on the phone.
Good morning, my most favoriteest, most beautifulest cousin in the whole wide world.
Good morning, my favoriteest and most beautifulest cousin in the whole wide world, and cousin Ray, and little Joe Cruz.
I'm sorry, Lupang Guam on the YouTube side saying, Ray, what is being built down at EPAL? I'm going to hound you, Ray, until I get an answer. Cousin Troy, is there something getting built down in EPAL?
I have no idea. There's construction at EPAL Beach.
That's I'm looking at my WhatsApp. I'm going to ask Uncle Carl, what's the construction in your backyard? Construction in YPAO. Yeah, okay. All right, there we go. So I'll see if I can get an answer from him on that. Now, yesterday, we called you, but you were in experiencing a bad dog moment, and we had to abandon the conversation. That, and you also did not have your card, as it were, to describe some of the things that Ken was going to be up to. Hopefully that situation has changed.
Yeah. So I think our top story today is going to be in the CNMI. And it's about 6 government employees who were vocal against the governor prior to the impeachment trial. They've since been let go. That's not funny, but, that's how politics rolls. Right?
Well, it is, isn't it? I got word earlier in the week, and I think I sent you a copy of the screen cap, where we're starting to see people up in the NMI that had picked a side and were apparently very vocal about it. All of a sudden, they find themselves unemployed, as it were.
Well, I don't think that they were very vocal about it. What I understand is that.
Oh, really? Like it was a whisper or something like that? Like the hint that somebody was lining up against Cheeto?
Yeah, they liked posts of people who were critical of the governor. So,
Whoa. What? They did was like a post?
Yes, that's what I understand. They weren't themselves vocal, but I guess liking the post of the opposition is considered blasphemy. And
what was the post? Send us the link so we can all like it.
No, dude, that's like crazy ex-girlfriend stuff. What are you doing? So they scoured the internet, and social media posts, and anything that was critical of Cheeto and the administration, anybody that liked it that they could circle back on, they did.
Oh yeah, they're very good about that.
Oh, my God, Becky. Political retaliation. Here's what I've got. Selena is her name. Just as I predicted, the pink slips have started being issued since last Friday, immediately after the conclusion of the Senate hearing and after that huddle over that loaded sushi boat. Terminations have begun. For those who have been given their pink slips, do not resign. Contact my office for assistance. We can help you. Who is this Selena Roberto Babauta that forwarded that?
Chairwoman of the House Judiciary and Government Operations Committee. She was the one who led the impeachment hearings in the House.
Ah, okay. Okay.
And then the other thing we're taking a look at is that odd news release from the Republican Party that sort of came out of nowhere, but slamming the governor about her relationship with Joe Biden, and then the Democrats' response to it
was a tweet.
Yeah. It was, and it started with LOL. So of course that's gonna get.
Do you have it?
It's just like a two-liner from Chirag on who sent it to me.
Oh, you do have it. Okay, because I thought I'd gotten it in my email last night and went looking for it this morning and couldn't find it. Chirag was up and early and sent me a copy of the thing here this morning, so I was able to share that earlier with the listeners. And if you're curious as to what the contents of it were, very, very simple, as it says, former President Trump brought Governor Calvo to a fuel stop, but President Biden brought Governor Leon Guerrero all the way to the White House. The fact that the Republican Party of Guam wrote a 5-paragraph release about how the president refuels Air Force One is just sad. As much as I giggle about my relationship with Chirag, sorry, that wasn't the point that they were making. The point that they were making was that Guam is the tip of the spear. These are very, very unpredictable and uncertain times with an ascendant China and an off-the-rails North Korea. And it would have been nice maybe if the leader of the free world came over and tried to make the people of Guam feel as good as he tried to make the people of Taiwan. Hey, we got your back. We are going to build out an incredible defense system to protect the people of Guam, both on and off the base. That's all. You could have done that from the steps of Air Force One at Anderson Air Force Base, but he didn't.
Yeah.
That's the point. That's the point that the Republicans are making. And if somebody at the governor's office reached out to Biden and said, hey, are you going to swing by Guam? Our governor, another Democrat, would like to meet with you. And if they said no, well, it would have been nice if we'd have gotten that out of the governor's office. Well, Biden's in town, but he's not going to be swinging by. Maybe the next trip. And if they sent them a request for an interview or an audience and the White House said no, well, that would be nice to know as well. Why'd they say no? What was the reason that they gave?
I just like the story more for the theater of it.
That's because it's us. That's because it's us and it's drama and it gives us something to play around with. So I don't disagree. I'm not going to say it was childish on both ends, but it was interesting. Or yeah, as Dave is pointing out now, my phone just beeped. As Dave said, Dave Saban says they could have invited Lou to Japan. Sorry, can't stop on Guam because the Russians and the Chinese are doing maneuvers around Japan. But how about you bring Lou over here and then whatever it is that you guys want to talk about, we'll talk about. Or maybe it has to do with, we were thinking about stopping by Guam, but we just heard that, what's his name, Melvin Wanpat Borja was talking smack about us to the UN again in Santa Lucia, of all places.
Well, I'm trying to remember, my time in the Calvo administration, Republican governor who was through a Democrat administration and a Republican administration, both Obama and Trump. And I probably, if we were going to get real about this, the serious story is more about, and it's bipartisan in a negative kind of way, is more about how Guam is not part of the table or not invited to the table to these things. I don't remember Trump going to China or South Korea or anything like that and inviting Governor Calvo. But I guess a point can be made about the fuel restop and the touch and go meeting or Governor Calvo getting onto Air Force One for his 15 minutes with the president.
Yeah.
But other than that, if we're talking about being invited to the table, it's just sort of a thing that any governor of Guam, except maybe Gutierrez was invited to the table a lot.
Well, you remember he invited and Clinton actually came and not just met with him on the tarmac at Anderson Air Force Base. I think the guy slept over at Government House. Or am I thinking of the Pope?
And if I were the Republican Party, I would have been a little smarter about that. I would have played up. I wouldn't have been so negative against Governor Leon Guerrero. I would have taken the shot and then compared her to Governor Felix Camacho, who really had an outstanding relationship with federal officials when he was in office. I think it was kind of a wasted opportunity. 50% of it was wasted opportunity.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It gave me stuff to talk about all day yesterday, and that's groovy. You talk about Felix Camacho. Back up on the screen is a picture of Felix Camacho in the arms of Michelle Obama, and next to him is Barack Obama, the president then of the United States of America, and his time while governor also was shared with the presidency of George Bush, and there's a picture of him and Joanne in the bosom of the Bushes.
Yeah, they had Governor Camacho, and it's probably the first lady accompanied him on those trips to Washington D.C. and they really did have a great working relationship with Washington officials and governors,
right,
throughout. And I went on, I think, one of those trips, if I'm not mistaken. And he even developed relationships with Australian officials. It's just too bad that nothing in the way of commerce ever came from that, but I thought the Republican Party should have really played that up.
I had Felix and Eddie on yesterday for some time, so they did actually do some of that playing up of their relationships and why the relationship with the president is important and valuable. 7:55 in the morning from Candid News. It's my cousin Troy, and last thing here, we're all gearing up for next Tuesday and the gubernatorial debate platform 2022, and I believe we've got confirmation from just about everybody we need confirmation from.
Yeah, hopefully, and we're all prepared for 3 candidates to be on the stage. There will be no audience because that would be a nightmare. Plus, our studio is not big enough for one.
Right.
It will also be broadcast or simulcast on PBS KGTF Channel 12, as well as, of course, live on our platform, ThePOINT and Candid. We have the question-making body, which will be meeting at 5 p.m. tomorrow at Candid, along with Mana and Phil, who will make sure that everything's going right, to come up with 30 questions. From those 30 questions, Mana and Phil will be pulling from a fishbowl on the night of the debate. And on Saturday, we have our dry run, and prior to our dry run, we've got at 11 a.m. the straw poll for petitions for opening and closing statements and for the debate sequence.
All right. It sounds like everything is coming together. I want to thank some folks for helping out. Lou and Josh have actually picked up their advertising packet for this as well as Linda's and American Medical Center, right?
Yes.
All right, groovy. So good. You and Eric are paid for it. I like that. 7:55 in the morning. Hey, I got to run, cuz you have a fantastic rest of the day.
You guys do.
All right, buddy. And now to answer your question. See, that's what you got. That's what you got to do. You come to me with a question. I might not know the answer, but I know where to get the answer. So Lupang Guam hounding me now about a huge hole and clearing right in front of the band shell. New cement sidewalk from the main sidewalk wrapping around the huge clearing that they've got there. Former Governor Gutierrez was asked, what's the construction in EPOW? He says it's the ponding basin, personally cleaned by DPW's Vince and Linda Vanez.
Oh, nice.
Personally cleaned by them. Rotary Club also celebrating their contribution of building the steps nearby. There's a little pagoda up around the top, and that was put there by the Rotary Club of Guam, I want to say very late 80s or early 90s. And I was a member of the club at that time. Now, inside is a time capsule.
Really?
There's a time capsule that is buried underneath that little pagoda, and inside are all kinds of memorabilia, if you will, of what life was like on Guam and for Rotarians in that part of that. I forget when they're going to open the thing up, and we all wrote notes to either ourselves or our children, and they said, write something, Ray, to your kids, your offspring, because it's possible that I might be in what was the Rotary Club at that time. I might be the last survivor when I might still be alive when they open the thing up. I want to say it was only going to be for 50 years.
Interesting.
And I was a fairly young guy.
And you wrote the lyrics to Time in a Bottle.
I did. I stole the line from Jim Croce's Time in a Bottle. Okay, so former Governor Gutierrez also likewise now sending me footage of what we're looking at, of what it is that we're talking about over at the EPOW Beach Place Standby 1. I'm getting footage from just about everywhere. Standby, because we're talking about how excited everybody is that we've we've got a whole bunch of tourists that are coming to Guam and how much they're enjoying Guam. How much are they enjoying the island? Right there. If you're watching on screen right now, we've got this is over at Alupang, the Alupang Park next to the condominiums, and there's a couple of tourists out there doing TikTok dancing.
I love it.
Isn't that great?
Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you for coming to Guam, entertaining yourselves and us as well. Former Governor Gutierrez now. This is the video that
I hope they
shot.
tag GVB.
I don't know if they tag
the
GVB.
Instagram.
I'll send that up there and maybe make somebody a winner. So there's a ponding basin. A lot of people don't realize it's been there forever. That ponding, but you've never seen it because it's been all overgrown with stuff. So it looks like somebody went out there and
we
did
should put
some,
koi fish in there.
yeah, kois and those Marianas moorhens.
Yeah.
And dolphins with lasers. We'll need dolphins with lasers on their heads. So that's what's going on. It's not new construction. We're not building another Epal Beach store in that area. But man, wouldn't that be great if we did?
A skate park.
Skate park. Why not? Something along those lines. And we'll make it so
Nice.
it's safer than the one up in Dededo. So there it is, Lupang, Guam. We have now answered all of your questions. 888-825-5888-TALK. One other note here from former Governor Gutierrez about relationships with the presidents. First, I flew out on Air Force One in September of 1995. Took her to Hyatt to meet the people on her way to Beijing for the women's conference. All right, so there's an answer on how Carl had interacted back in the day with the president of the United States of America. At the time, it was Bill Clinton. We all got together over at the governor's office for a little bit of speech making and a little bit of music making, and Uncle Tote singing the Guam hymn. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. We're really, really close to it. On the other side of that, Montesilva's, we got Fox News Live coming up next. On the other side of that, we've got Montesilva Tyron, who is going to take care of delivering news and information to you. And then after that, it's just going to be a freewheeling and frivolous kind of Ray Gibson show on a Thursday morning. Not a whole lot in the headlines to talk about, but that doesn't mean there aren't important things that we need to discuss here as a community, and maybe I can bring some of that to the table. If not, then we'll just spend another hour giving the Democrats a hard time. I mean, we'll just never know where the show's going to take us. Stand by one, Fox News Live, playing on the point.
No clear motive. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Authorities in Uvalde, Texas, are starting to piece together the events before yesterday's mass shooting at Robb Elementary School. Governor Greg Abbott says the gunman, 18-year-old Salvador Ramos, made 3 posts on social media that he was going to shoot his grandmother, then that he shot her, and finally that he was going to shoot up an elementary school.
Investigators confirmed after shooting his grandmother, the suspect then drove off, crashing his truck near Robb Elementary School. From there, officials say he barricaded himself inside a 4th grade classroom. This is where all 21 people died, 19 students and 2 teachers. Now, law enforcement then forced their way in, eventually killing this suspect.
Fox's Jeff Paul in Uvalde. Ramos is not known to have any criminal or mental health history. President Biden says he and the First Lady will visit Uvalde in the coming days. At the White House this afternoon, he signed an executive order on police reform.
I don't know any good cop who likes a bad cop. But for many people, including many families here, such accountability is all too rare.
Signing coming on the 2-year anniversary of the death of George Floyd. A candlelight vigil will be held tonight to honor the memory of George Floyd at the intersection where he died in Minneapolis. A House panel looking into the baby formula shortage.
Chairwoman Diana DeGette of Colorado wants leading formula makers to explain
why caregivers are scrambling to find the necessary nutrition that they need.
Ranking member Morgan Griffith of Virginia added another question.
Why did the Biden administration let the shortage become so dire before acting with any urgency?
The shutdown of an Abbott nutrition facility in Michigan triggered the shortfall and cast a light on a handful of companies providing most of the formula available nationwide.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Wall Street, the Dow gained 191, the NASDAQ plus 170. America is listening to Fox News.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Day. This is Severina. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Closing arguments called off in one state's lawsuit over the opioid epidemic.
A 7-week trial in Charleston, West Virginia leads to an 11th-hour tentative settlement after West Virginia accused 2 major pharma companies of downplaying the risks of addiction from using their opiate drugs and overstating the benefits. The judge put the trial on hold to give them time to come to terms. A $161 million settlement with Teva Pharmaceuticals and AbbVie's Allergan. Just last month, West Virginia reached a $99 million settlement with Johnson & Johnson's Janssen Pharmaceuticals over their role in perpetuating the opiate deaths. West Virginia has long led the nation in drug overdose deaths. Therese Crowley, Fox News.
Aerosmith frontman Steven Tyler has voluntarily entered rehab. The band posted on social media that Tyler has made no secret of his struggles with substance abuse. Relapsed after having foot surgery earlier this year. They have postponed the first portion of their tour as a result. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says he's sorry after a report investigating parties attended by high-ranking members of the British government that took place during the pandemic.
The British leader says the buck stops with him.
I take full responsibility for everything that took place on my watch.
The Partygate scandal investigated by senior civil servant Sue Gray, who probes 16 parties that Johnson and his staff went to in 2020 and 2021. Scottish National Party leader Ian Blackford.
Prime Minister, time is up. Resign. Resign. Resign before this House is forced to remove him.
The report blames the PM and senior officials for the culture of rule-breaking, resulting in several parties that breached the UK's COVID-19 lockdown rules.
Fox's CJ Papa. The Congressional Budget Office says high inflation will persist into next year. I'm Lee Silasera. This is Fox News.
Choosing health insurance for my family is difficult. I need to know our health insurance will protect us now and in the future. Take Care members have access to the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs, and a high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care. My family choose Take Care. Your family should also consider choosing Take Care. Call 671-647-3526 for more information. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
On March 4th, Guam Homeland Security sent an advisory warning about Russian cyber attacks and recommended Guam organizations strengthen their cybersecurity postures. You might think your small business isn't at risk, but as businesses use more cloud and web-based tools, they're exposed to cyber attacks designed to snare victims of any size. Keep your organization protected with GTA's multi-threat security bundle. Visit gta.net or call 671-644-1000 for a free consultation today.
$15 might not get you that far, but Chili's is bucking the trend with $15 meal deals. At Chili's, $15 gives you not one, not two, but 3-course meal deals complete with a drink, a starter, and an entree. Mix and match 3-course meals 15 ways to Sunday with soup, salad, or chips and salsa to start, and ranchero chicken tacos, honey chipotle crispers with rice, bacon ranch quesadillas, or personal fajitas for the main course. Build your own $15 meal deal at Chili's. More life and great value happen here.
Your local news is brought to you by Nambo Insurance. Skip the line, pay online. It's fast, it's easy, and it's secure. Visit nambo.com for more information.
Off at 8:06, I'm Montesova Tyron with a look at your local news on The Point. Police are investigating a fatal crash that took place yesterday afternoon in the Dededo area. A 29-year-old man was killed in that crash. He was said to be the lone occupant of a vehicle that ran off the road and crashed into a concrete utility pole. It happened near Isangsong Road. The Guam Daily Post reports that medics performed CPR en route to the Guam Regional Medical City. However, he was pronounced dead. The man's name has not been released. Meanwhile, the Guam Daily Post also reports at least one officer could face disciplinary action in connection with the escape of a detainee last month at the Manila prison. An internal affairs investigation revealed the officer allegedly violated security protocols at the time the detainee was able to get out. DOC is now taking further steps toward disciplinary action. 22-year-old Katie Arason was able to flee the facility for about an hour before he was captured. He was being detained prior to that in connection with a stabbing. He's now facing charges of felony escape and eluding a police officer and reckless driving. Also, a 19-year-old man will be in court today after he could spend the rest of his life in jail. Eddie Addy facing up to 70 years behind bars, according to prosecutors. He was a gunman involved in a robbery at a Tamuning store earlier this year in which he was using an airsoft gun. He was convicted on multiple counts of second and third degree robbery, terrorizing, and theft. Each conviction includes special allegations of possession and use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. He appeared in court yesterday, but his defense asked for more time to review the presenting report. He's scheduled to be back in court today. The AG's office did announce earlier this month that Addy faces 16 to 70 years in the crime. Sam Tecker, who's his attorney, plans to ask the court that Addy serve less time in prison, but prosecuting attorney Sean Brown said that they will be asking that he get at least 25 years. We'll have more news right after this.
Go green, go hybrid, go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
The AG's office confirms that they are reviewing allegations of abuse made by an 83-year-old woman who claims she's been abused by her daughter. No charges have been filed yet against Mary Grace Dellen Jacot. The mother alleges that she had been physically abused by her 40-year-old daughter, and she's also been tried to force her out of her home. The Guam Police Department says that Jacot was taken into custody, but officers were advised by the AG's office prosecutors to release her. The AG's office didn't release any further details other than they are reviewing the incident. And a woman accused of throwing rocks at passing cars was arrested, but not before causing damage to a number of cars passing by. 32-year-old Tracy Alton, charged with 3 counts of criminal mischief and assault as misdemeanors. The woman is alleged to have been pelting rocks at cars. 3 separate drivers told police that they were heading south on Route 4 when Alton threw rocks at them. Alton allegedly told officers that she threw the rocks because they didn't want to give her a ride to the swimming pool. She was also charged in an alleged assault at the Guam Behavioral Center. Her accuser told police that Alton punched her in the face and stood over her, attempting to hit her again. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
Yeah, crazy story. We got all kinds of details in the magistrate report. Josephine was the driver of a Toyota Sienna, now has a cracked windshield. Estimated damage on that vehicle, $500. There's Whitney, who is going to be out some money, scratches on the passenger door. Their estimates of $400. I mean, any little ding that you get on a car, any little, I mean, what is that, a $400 or $500 deal at any shop that you go to here on Guam. We've got another person here, 2020 Toyota Corolla. Oh, a new car for Gina. Estimated damage $500 there. Each reported they were traveling southbound out on Route 4, and the defendant hit their respective vehicles with rocks as they passed. When the defendant was interviewed about throwing rocks at passing cars, she responded, because they didn't want to give me a ride to the swimming pool. I don't think they cared where you were going. I don't think they wanted to give you a ride, period, because you're crazy, is what happened.
What was her name again?
Which one?
The lady that's throwing the rocks.
What is it, Audrey? I'm looking at Tracy. Tracy Alton is her name. And there's
single.
I imagine. But here's maybe a guy made her crazy. Real Joe, have you pondered that? Maybe it was a happy relationship with somebody, and it was happy, and then all of a sudden it ended in tears, and that was bang. That was just enough, make her snap and need to spend time over at the swimming pool. And unfortunately, even if somebody did give her a ride, what swimming pool was she going to go to? There's no government of Guam swimming pool out there. There's no free for crazy people swimming pool that we've got here on Guam. We have real mental health issues going on in this town. Then you've got the other magistrate report that I'll tell you about. A couple of guys, including a fellow named Cassie Moses, and who's the other defendant? Sharfang Irwin, and they were trying to trying to hustle somebody out of a pack of cigarettes. More on that in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, at 8:12 in the morning, here's the weather that we're going to have to endure for the day. Landon says mostly cloudy today in the forecast, highs near 88 degrees. It will feel like 96. It's the magic of the heat index. Mostly cloudy tonight, lows around 76 degrees. And because it's nighttime, there's not much of a heat index to speak of. It'll just be a little bit cooler. Mostly cloudy in the forecast for Friday, which is tomorrow. Highs near 88 degrees. It's partly cloudy skies and overnight lows of about 76 degrees. Sunset tonight's going to be at 6:53. However, many of you might not see it, as many of you that are listening might be at a fundraiser, a political fundraiser over at Venue tonight for my classmate, going back all the way to kindergarten. We were classmates together in kindergarten. Tina Rose Munya Barnes has got a fundraiser going on over at the place, and Chirag said the drinks are on him. He didn't actually say that. I think he inferred it, though, and the invitation to me to join them over at Venue tonight. We'll see what happens. It's 8:13 on the Ray Gibson Show. I'll be right back.
Win a $100 gas card when you purchase Gasolina energy drinks. Be one of 5 winners and enter now when you purchase 3 for $4 Gasolina 8-ounce or 3 for $5 Gasolina 16-ounce energy drinks. Drawing on June 21st. Free gas with 76 Circle K. Take it easy. Get a 10-pound bag of ice for only 95 cents when you purchase a 12-pack or more of any soda or beer. Only 95 cents for a 10-pound bag of ice. Swing by Circle K today. Some conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Half a day. Patsy Gogri from Security Title here with information about what a title company does. The title side of our business determines who owns a property and guarantees your ownership with a title insurance policy. The escrow side acts as an independent third party, managing the transfer of money and documents between the buyer, seller, lenders, and others. Security Title has a management of real estate closings down to a science. Give us a call. We are here to help.
Thank you so much. 8:14, Ray Gibson Show. Until it's not going to be anymore, I think we're targeting 10 a.m. for the close of the program. That's where we're headed today? That's where the log says 10? Okay, but no, I'm just saying, people tune in at different times on the program and, wonder what they've missed. And if you're just now tuning into the broadcast, maybe you just kind of woke up late, or maybe you've just been fumbling around with your morning and remembered, oh, yeah, that's right, that guy, the mouth, he's on the radio every morning, and tuning in. You didn't really miss a whole lot, because there really isn't a whole lot going on. We had Ken called in. We had Ken on for a while. Cousin Troy was on the phone. He's a guy named Frank. Kiko is his name. This guy called up and was complaining about his power bill. He said, my God, this LEAC thing is like twice what it was last year. And the answer is, yeah, I know, because Joe Biden is the president of the United States of America. And Joe Biden made it so that West Texas crude is now among the most expensive crude in the whole wide world. This time last year, you could go to the West Texas crude store. Sorry, it's not it's more like an outlet mall, I think, and buy yourself a barrel of West Texas crude for $66. Fast forward to May the 27th of 2022, and that same West Texas crude, Texas tea, as the man says in the song about the Beverly Hillbillies, black gold, Texas tea. All of that stuff now is trading around $110, $111. For a barrel of that. It's gone up almost twice in its value. It's 100% of its value now in just a year. And that's why the electric bill is so high. Although there were a lot of people that, were chiming in and offering him advice. Somebody said, Kiko Man, if you're still listening, if you're not mad at me for, agreeing with GPA on this one, here's the thing. You might want to check air conditioner. And the guy online on the meme machine says that his air conditioner, the motor bearings, whatever, I don't know, I'm not an aircon guy. I'm not the aircon kuya for the radio station. I call the aircon kuya oftentimes, but the catalytic the catalytic bearings in his air conditioner went sideways, and it cost to run that air conditioner 15% more. Air cons aren't cheap to begin with, but when you've got a problem like that makes the compressor or whatever work harder in order to actually do the compression of the gas, that's going to make it so that it costs more to run. So you might want to check that. Don't call GPA. They're not in the air con business. But it might also be, washer and dryer. Washer and dryer. Somebody yesterday was talking about, it was Harvey Egna who was talking yesterday. He says, I've got teenage daughters, and now Their job is when we put a load of wash in the washer, instead of taking it out and putting it in the dryer and then spinning it around with hot air, and it takes electricity to make the air hot, then what we do is we take the clothes and we hang them on, Mana's making the face, the clothesline. We hang it on the clothes.
No, that makes a whole bunch of sense.
Right?
You hang it on the clothesline, let it dry, and then you fluff it up in the dryer.
I'm sorry. Wait a second. Hold on.
That's how you iron clothes, Ray.
No, that's okay. Bachelor, this is how you iron clothes. You take it out of the dryer just before the dryer wants it, so it's still a tiny bit moist, and then you put it on a hanger, and then you put it in the closet, and then it will sort of iron itself. Certain fabrics.
So wait, what did Harvey say?
Harvey said he's got his teenage daughters that take the clothes out of the washing machine and put it on the clothesline. And it hasn't rained on Guam all month.
It's completely skip the dryer part.
It's completely skipped the dryer part. Everything goes on the clothesline, and when it's dry, then you take it and you fold it or you hang it up with hangers. Yeah. And that's the way he does that. But I had not pondered the idea because often
throw it in the dryer just to fluff it up.
Yeah, because when you hang it outside, it gets a little bit stiff.
Yeah,
there's a little stiffness to all of this. Mm-hmm. So you put that in a dryer, fluff it up in there for a couple of minutes, and then it's good as
yeah, and then you fold it. You got to fold it right away.
Oh, God.
Fold it and put it away. Don't put it on the couch.
And I have...
the folding fairy will show up.
maybe, and take that. There's a pile. There's literally a pile, Real Joe. I've gotten to a point now. There's certain clothes that I may never wear again for a couple of reasons. A, I don't fit them real good, and number two, it requires ironing. And for ironing now, and there was a time.
But you iron your clothes.
I do iron my clothes. I will iron my clothes, but now there's a priority. There's the pile of clothes that I may never wear again, and then there's a pile of shirts that I like to wear and that I look good in, but require ironing. And then from that pile, it's like triage, right? You know, it's like, I definitely want to iron this. I need to have a clean white shirt available at all times for whatever, and I need to have this kind of shirt and that kind of. So that's how I go through the process now. And there's a part of me that I like getting new clothes just like everybody else does. But then you start looking at the clothes and go, oh my God, I'm gonna have to iron this. That's a great shirt, but that shirt needs ironing.
You
can't just pull it out of the dryer and put it on a hanger and you're done.
I love cleaning, but that's one chore I refuse to do. I will not iron. I hate ironing.
Side hustle. I'll give you an idea about a side hustle.
I'm not good at it. I have like double creases, triple creases on purpose. So
you
that
need
nobody
the ironing genie.
Yeah. You know who to get to iron your clothes?
I tried doing a steamer. I could do a steamer, but if I could avoid ironing
it's
altogether,
hard to get. It's with a steamer unless you know what you're doing, and you can hurt yourself with a steamer.
You can burn yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. 20. I don't recommend that for anybody. 20 after 8 o'clock in the morning. We're supposed to do commercials, but I'll just do the live reads and then we'll just stay with the conversation because I'm going to tell you who in the mayor's council is the best ironer that there is. Among the mayors is one of them who irons his clothes immaculately. 8:20 in the morning. All the mayors that are listening right now know who I'm talking about and are giggling. Yeah, no, it's not Pika's best, believe it or not. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by APL, American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. Also brought to you by the guys over at NissanGuam.com and the World Wide Web. Yes, you better believe that their clothes are pressed all the time because they want to put an impressive professional look when you walk in to buy that car. Not that you need convincing from somebody with an iron shirt, but it's always nice when you've got somebody that can walk you around the room and tell you everything that you need to know about a particular ride that they've got, i.e. tell me about the safety features on this new Nissan Sentra. Tell me about the electric Leaf that you've got here. Tell me about how many, up to 111 miles to the gallon when you make the comparison between that and an internal combustion engine. Amazing. And available all the time. Visit NissanGuam.com first and then go check out the Nissan showroom and learn all of the great things about all of the great Nissan cars.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-8255.
8:21 Ray Gibson Show, and there's so much in my mind right now. And let me just get this out in the open for everybody to see. There's one mayor on Guam. I mean, there's many mayors on Guam, but this one in particular is known in the group of mayors, and they're like a family. They are like a family, believe it or not. And then there's a lot of kidding around that they'll do with each other when they're together, and I'm happy enough to run around in the crowd that does get together with the mayors actually quite often. And this one mayor in particular, they give him a hard time because everything is ironed. The guy wears a pair of jeans to the office. They're ironed. He's got a shirt. And there are ironed creases down the side, and creases down the back. I'm almost positive his underwear and his socks are likewise also ironed.
Oh, is he prime military?
I believe he might be. Mayor Rudy Paco from the beautiful.
I was gonna say
beautiful village. I'm going to talk to
I was gonna say.
Next, if you see Rudy over
medium
the next couple,
starch.
Oh man, I think it's high end starch bread. Crystal Paco's dad,
heavy starch.
Crystal Paco St. Augustine's dad is the most ironed and creased guy on Guam, and the mayors they just love to give him a ration of it every time that they're all together. And he just kind of got that look like, hey, you know,
and
if you got it, flaunt it.
Is a hottie too, and so she's well put together. So she's probably like, you know, you better look sharp too.
Yeah, absolutely. So
she keeps him in line.
If you need tips and tricks on getting your clothes ironed up, that's the guy to talk to. 8:23 in the morning in the Ray Gibson Show. Side hustle time. We're taking a look at jobs, and especially at summertime, you're looking for jobs for the kids. And some of you might be thinking, oh, you know, after they're done hanging the clothesline, again, clothes to dry outside, maybe what we can do is get Harvey Egna's kids to go and do some babysitting. Teenage babysitters, this is from the Wall Street Journal, are charging as much as $30 an hour. Why? Because they can. Power dynamics have changed. Sitters are now treated as VIPs. An 18-year-old in Scarsdale, New York, is raking in between $25 to $30 an hour. Bree Steiger is her name. 18-year-old high school senior, Longmeadow, Massachusetts, is charging between $15 or $16 an hour, up from $9 to $10 an hour pre-pandemic. One family was like, "We'll order anything you want for dinner on top of the meal." So that might be something to think about here.
Could you pay them with that programming nanny?
Programming nanny money? I don't know. It could work. Programming John Savars on line one is there. Boys, hey, John, congratulations. I heard you picked up a packet.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Ray. I guess it's time, right? A lot of people have been asking me for many years. I've been in the cannabis fight for a long time. I've been dealing with, helping my mom and in the community for a long time, just under the radar, right? And I think a lot of people have been asking me over the last couple of years, why don't you just run? Why don't you just run? Mm-hmm. I've never been the kind of fan of the limelight. You guys know this. And so for me, it was a very, very tough decision. And it's just time for me to step out and throw my hat in the ring and give it a shot, right? I've seen a lot of issues that the mayor's faced. And of course, over the last couple of years, I've been fighting for a patient-focused medical cannabis program on our island. So these are things that I want to remain focused on in the legislature, amongst working with other colleagues who have expertise in other areas. Because I'll tell you, I'm not an expert in any of these.
There is a need now, I think, for an advocate in the legislature in the cannabis arena. And I know you've got a sharp focus, as you say, with medicinal marijuana and something that is a little bit more patient-centric than seeming, some of the bureaucracy that you have to cut through and red tape and necessary unnecessary hurdles. But having said all that, it would be nice if there was now that Clinton Rogel has suggested that he is not going to be running for another term at the legislature. It's time to get somebody else in there, as I said, that will do a little bit more marijuana-centric conversations to the degree that it can be integrated properly with the entire community. And that would include, in my mind, tourists. It would include, in my mind, areas, certain areas that we might have on Guam that are somewhat distressed, and turning those into marijuana business cultivation zones. I've been talking about the Green Mile for many years. Anywhere between the district court and the governor's office, there's a whole lot that can be done with that space. There's some beautiful beachfront in that area. There's a lot of distressed buildings. I think there's a lot of distressed residents out there, and if we found a way to put some dispensaries there, marijuana cafes that we might be able to go to, or someplace where we can go and smoke a joint and sit back and eat chicken wings and brownies. What do you say?
What you're talking about is things that a lot of that has to go to the legislation, and this is why with Clinton leaving the legislature, right? there's nobody who really understands. I don't feel like there's too many people who understand in the legislature the dynamic of how intricate the pieces have to be with this cannabis industry. There's a lot of other legislation in our current rules that the CCB released. There's no lounges, right? So these are things that have to go back in, and we have to implement some sort of. I want to push it in law because it would be faster to build this industry if we work with the CCB. If I work with the CCB as they build their roles and stuff, and work with them and talk to their expertise, but also push it through in the legislature so we're not going through the AAA process. We can try to speed this, push the AAA process. If the CCB and people in the legislature can work together to build the program overall, right? I want to talk about your Green Mile because there's a daycare right across the street, and that Green Mile area, it will not meet the zoning requirements. I just want to throw that out there because I love your idea.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that people understand that we have to pay attention to the zoning issue.
No problem. I don't have any problem with that, and I'm sure we'd find a new location for that daycare center.
Of course, and there are other
I think
locations
we'll just get them the hell out of there.
Well, no, because that's the nannies, right? You know, the people who work in Algania need that daycare for their.
No, I'm just joshing you. I'm just. I don't disagree. I don't want to have. I don't want to put my Green Mile next to a church. I don't want to put it next to a daycare. I think it's important that we respect the wishes of the community that might not want to be a part of this. But I think that there ought to be some way that we will encourage these businesses. And you've seen the paperwork. You know what the hurdles are for some place that's going to be doing any kind of dispensing around here. So let's find a way to incentivize that business so that more people will find money, put it at risk, and see what happens. See if it's true what they say about what is going to happen to our economy once this quote industry gets off the ground.
And that's what I want to make sure of, right? As we need to have somebody in the legislature who understands that the dynamics are going to have to shift real quick, fast, in a hurry, because in the cannabis industry, you don't have other protections like other businesses. You can't write off your cost. You can barely write off your cost of goods. You can't. You don't have federal crop protection. We're still hearing people with the bank, the CCB talk about the banking issue. Mm-hmm. So as we progress, right, there's going to have to be legislation that's fluidly moved through the legislature with somebody who can explain and understand the dynamic of the industry.
Okay, so now this is not your full-blown candidate interview. This is just just a couple of guys on the radio talking. One that just happened to pick up a packet, and my goodness, what a whole lot of horse blank in that application, isn't it? I mean, just page after page after page of what I consider to be unnecessary documentation and requests from the Guam Election Commission to peer and probe into your life. And I applaud you if you've made it all the way through the process. I applaud you because I just think that there's way too much paperwork involved, and maybe when you become a senator, John Savares, you can address that and make it easier for people, everyday folks on Guam that might have an idea, might have a wish, might have a dream for the people of Guam to be able to get involved.
I can tell you that there are a lot of, just looking at the packet, right? This is new to me. I didn't ask my mom or I didn't ask other candidates that I know to help me and to navigate through this storm. I wanted to do this. This is a candidacy that I wanted to embark on my own. So I literally built my own team, and my team is all wet behind theirs because we don't.
Oh, yeah, but a couple of guys that were saying, "Well, don't you know a guy?" And I'm, but my problem is I like him. That's the problem. I like the guy, and I didn't want to burden him with being my campaign manager and have to deal with all of that bull crap paperwork. But that's just me. 831. One of these days, John, if you are if you do get the nod from among the members of the community and become a senator, great. You can be an advocate for the cannabis industry here on Guam. You can be an advocate for the medicinal cannabis users, but there are other pressing issues that we've got to work on. We've seen brighter days in education at Guam Memorial Hospital. For God's sakes, could you be the senator that fixes the damn swimming pool?
And this is something that I'm looking at, right? And I've been talked to. I know Department of Parks and Recs is grossly underfunded. We see that in all our parks, in a bunch of our park facilities, the swimming pool, the skate park. These are places that need to be funded. So we need in the legislature. This is one of another big focus areas that I want to look at is Parks and Recs, because we know that Parks and Recs also handles the cemetery. there are, there's two cemeteries and if you ever get a chance, there's Chamorro Cultures, Customs, and Histories that on Facebook that there's a person out there, Hogan Mendiola, who goes out and does grave restoration.
Yes.
And this is something that he does out of his own time and pocket. But if the government, if Parks and Rec is supposed to be the one to go out and make sure these places are upkept and the families, and we're not making sure that we're honoring our dead, right? Because this is history, our history. We honored our dead as part of our history, and we can't forget sight of that, right? And this is something that I believe if I can, as a senator, I can work with Parks and Rec to make sure we have dedicated, we can look at funding mechanisms to make sure that our cemeteries and our parks are maintained, because right now they're not as many. A lot of the bathrooms on island are closed. We see this constantly, and I would love to have all these open, especially as our tourism industry opens. But we need to make sure we empower the agencies who oversee it to make sure and give them the resources to have the facilities ready for our industry, right? Because a lot of these Parks and Rec facilities are used not only by our local community but our tourism community, and we have to make sure that both of the organization that is overseeing it has the resources
equal to the task. I don't know. It always seems like they're forgotten in the process.
Same thing with the Mayor's Council, right? We go to the Mayor's Council. At the Mayor's Council, growing up 22 years, I've actually had to go out, cut trees, clear roads, help pick up dead dogs, and all these things over the years, right? I just watched. The reason why we have to come, us as a family, is not only to support my mom, but because we know that the village is underfunded. The mayors and this is every village, right?
Soon-to-be candidate John Tavares on the line. We're just touching base on a couple of other issues besides cannabis, for which he's probably primarily known. And we'll spend some more time down the road as you get closer and closer. Like I said, you get your team together and have them fill out all of that POS paperwork that you've got to give to Maria Pangilinan over at the Election Commission. And I wish you very, very good luck. Once you become an official de facto candidate, of course, we'll invite you to the radio station so that you can swing by. Everybody can look at you and maybe take a couple of calls and questions from the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live crowd, and get to know you and your goals a little bit more.
Mana, and Joe, and just hang out in the studio and chime up with you. And of course, your listeners, I want to, running for senator, I believe that I should be up against the people, and advocate people.
All right. Well, just FYI, an endorsement for me is usually a kiss of death. So,
but you've been doing this longer than I, Ray. You've been doing this longer than I have.
Viva.
And at the end of the day, I gotta look at senior statesmen and people who've been around the game.
Did you just refer to me as a senior statesman? Oh my God, it's getting deep in it.
Senior citizen statesman.
Johnny, I got to let you go.
Bring your petition by so we can sign it.
Yeah, but put it in.
You're welcome.
Put it in a bag with some empanada from Chori.
No, you don't need to. You don't need to. Just bring your petition and sign it.
Yes, amigo.
Thank you, Mana.
Okay, and you too. Good luck.
Get with what's his name? Jesse Anderson Lahan's guy, Marvin. Marvin was the guy that brought that empanada yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
Did you miss it?
No, I had some. I had some on my way.
All right, so 8:35 in the morning.
I had to run an extra mile because of it.
If it sounded like I was pushing John Tavares off the pedestal too quickly, it's because Mana needs to get out of here kind of on time. So we'll jump into news and headlines in about 60 seconds.
Hey there, folks. It's me, KFC's Extra Crispy Colonel. My KFC Extra Crispy Chicken is fresh double-breaded and fried to a luxurious, mouth-watering bronze. You see, Extra Crispy KFC Chicken isn't just a product, it's a lifestyle.
And for a limited time, KFC's delicious egg tarts are back. Pick up your KFC Extra Crispy Chicken meal and an order of egg tarts at your favorite KFC today. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Are you looking for a new place to hang out with your friends? Let's go along the sidelines at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Located at 154 Iriarte Road, Unit 4 and 5 in Tamuning behind Royal Bigs. Sidelines, a hidden gem with nothing but great things to offer. Great atmosphere, great food, top shelf drinks, and a great team. What are we waiting for? Let the fun begin at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. See you there.
Oh, this is nice. Just in time for Father's Day. The Chamber, so write this thing. It's the Chamber Business Women's Network of the Guam Chamber of Commerce is announcing a pop-up shop, Toys for Big Boys, and summer shopping. This will take place on the 18th of June. At GPO, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So if there are family members you want to do some shopping for, then by all means, this is the place. Let's see if we can get...
You are not my father.
Celebrity birthday Catherine Castro from over at the Chamber on this in the next couple of days to talk about the pop-up shop at GPO, Saturday, June 18th, 10 until 2. Thank you very much, Brandon.
And you'll be there marking your wish list, right?
Absolutely. Okay. Well, depending on which ones are there. I'm Anya from Coochie's. You need to be a part of this.
Toys.
Yes. I'm just, hey, you know what? Celebrate local business women and whatever their gig is, okay? It's local. It's women. You got to support it. And I'm also delighted. I just got word here from the guys over at Pacific Points that my request to add points has been seen to. Do you Pacific Points?
I do not.
Oh, my God. Okay. It's the Shell program. You go to Shell, you buy your gas, you buy, cigarettes, Slim Jims, Mountain Dews, beers, and whatever, and then you put your phone or whatever in front of the gizmo. Yes, purchases? you get points, and unlike other point programs, you can redeem them early. I mean, it doesn't take 1 million points to get $5 worth of gas, or in fact, I think 800 points, you can get a 12-pack of beer.
Oh wow,
Joe.
No, I don't know. I donate my points to Children's Hospital.
But every once in a while, I'll buy my stuff and realize that I left my phone with the QR code in the car. And
so now they're going to use your fingerprint.
So what you do is they'll give you a receipt, and then you email that to the Pacific Points, and then somebody will make a manual adjustment to your account. Very, very cool. So try it out today. 8:39 in the morning, Montecito time.
Yeah, I always cash in on the points that I get for the car washes.
Exactly. So that's the deal. 888-8255 is my phone number. Montecito Tavern's going to take off after this headline cast is done. What happened?
Well, a fatal car crash took place yesterday afternoon in Dededo. Police are investigating the cause of that. A 29-year-old man was killed in the crash. He's said to be the lone occupant, but he slammed into a concrete pole. He was taken to GRMC where he was pronounced dead. Meanwhile, the Joint Region confirms that they are cooperating with police in the investigation into an incident that took place at Two Lovers Point early Sunday morning. A woman was coaxed off the ledge with her baby. The baby, however, died. It was a 1-year-old girl. An autopsy will determine the cause of death. Meanwhile, DOC looking at taking disciplinary action against at least one guard who made an error which led to an escape of one of their detainees last month. DOC says that the officer allegedly violated security protocols at the time the detainee was able to get away. He was away for about an hour before he was eventually captured. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
Finally, something fun to do on a Monday. Hold on a second. I'm trying to get I got this from Sean Gumatau. I guess he's back in the fold with Felix and Tony, right? Okay, so I got this from him, and it is a plug. Since I plugged Tina's thing tonight over at Venue, the guys over in the Republican Party say, hey, what about us? Mention our stuff. Okay, here it is. Monday night mix, munchies, music, and merch. It's going to take place Monday the 6th. From 6 until 9 p.m. at Orland Pacific Plaza parking area. Bank Pacific at the corner. Used to be Fifth Avenue Market.
Had me at Munchies.
Right. Just Friends are the entertainment. We'll have food trucks there, including JKT's Food, Island Craves in Hafaloa, and Pokies. It's going to be Support Local Guam Leaf Crystals by Paul, and an opportunity to get young people and older folks, I guess, registered to vote. It's all being put together by the Camacho Ada 2022 team, and it sounds like a fun event. It doesn't say anything about beer. I'm kind of concerned about that.
Oh.
I don't. And where's the nearest beer in that area? Across the street at Wild Bill's.
Wild Bill's.
That would be the thing. We'll go and get our food, and then we'll march across the street and just kind of chow out and beer up over at Wild Bill's.
Okay, so be beer there.
Got the entire night all planned out. Wait. So we'll get our chow over there and then walk across the other street, and we'll go to Horse and Cat. Where there's also sometimes beer. And interesting people that I know that like to hang out there on Monday nights. Interesting wildlife that they get there from time to time. Or maybe just sneak in a cooler on our own. 19 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. You have found The Ray Gibson Show.
Kings Guam World Tennis Tour, presented by GTA, is bringing international tennis back to Guam. 4 weeks of international play will swing into action with 2 weeks of juniors, followed by 2 weeks of pros, May the 15th through June 12th. The Guam National Tennis Federation will host world-ranked players who will be coming to Guam from all over the world. Netters will compete for ranking points and cash to improve their position among the world's best. Matches will be played daily at the Guam National Tennis Center in Harmon, starting May 15th through June 12th. Special thanks to our platinum sponsors, Dimension Systems, New Gen, American Medical Center, and Morico Equipment.
We're already Pika's best radio station, but we're always looking for ways to be even better. Announcing The Point on Alexa. In addition to our FM and HD radio feeds, our incredible app, informative website, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live, you can now tell Alexa to stream The Point. And your smart speaker will start playing whatever we're saying. News and views 24/7 with your 4-word command. Alexa, stream The Point.
Yeah, I thought Trina had posted something like this online. Thanks, Colin. Colin with a note from the Anderson Air Force Base Facebook page. Take a look at the sky in honor of Memorial Day. The U.S. Marine Corps will conduct a flyover on the 30th, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. Should finish up at 10:45 up in Saipan. 4 FA-18 Hornets assigned to the Marine All-Weather Fighter Attack Squadron 533rd will fly from south to north, starting in Agate, passing over the Guam Veteran Cemetery at 10 a.m. Additionally, the aircraft will continue to Saipan, where it will pass over the USA Veteran Cemetery there at about 10:45. Members of the community are encouraged to observe the flyover at the following locations on Guam, obviously down in Agate, like I mentioned, Veteran Cemetery, and it will cut an arc over all of that. And my guess is that it should be fairly visible down at Camp Assen as well. And then up in Saipan at the USA Veteran Cemetery up there. I love that. A nice way to provide some tribute, not just to the folks that here on Guam, but up in Saipan as well, but the sheer number of Marines that lost their lives in liberation and capture of Guam and Saipan in July of 1944. Very, very interesting stuff. 888-8255-888-TALK is the telephone number. It's 844. Sorry, dare I? I'll send you. Maybe I'll send you the picture first, and then you can tell me whether or not you think maybe I should put it up on the screen here. Is that all right?
Yeah.
It's another picture of Janine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, it's
not that kind of picture. I mean, nobody's in major trouble or anything like that. But I just, I'll send it to you, and you can tell me whether you think that it might be, whether it will be appropriate for the radio, and then we'll just take it from there. Actually, I'll put it up on so that you can see it. Now you can see it on that screen, right?
Yeah. Wow.
What? Put
Is
it on?
that the beach?
Yes, he's at the beach again.
All right.
It's another beach picture with pretty Janine and the movie star sunglasses that she's got.
Living the life.
Oh no, I accidentally put it up on the screen.
Oh boy.
Oh darn it. Oh, what the heck's wrong with me? How dare I? Wait a second. No, try to get the entire picture. There it is. Sorry, your mileage may vary, but thank you very much, Janine, for that lovely, lovely picture. I'm sure that is going to be, that's what some people need to get their day started. 8:45 in the morning, it's the Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore as we make our way through a variety of very, very interesting topics. And some of you might be thinking, now, how much did you say that those kids in New York are getting for babysitting services? $30. $30 an hour. I mean, I remember back in the day, you might consider $30 for the night, and that's you and mom leaving the kid with somebody between, say, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening, go out, get a nice dinner, maybe check out a movie or something like that, come home by like 10:30, in time for the babysitter to go home. Here's $30, see you later, kid. But now it's $30 an hour, and are they getting it? Yes, they are getting $30 an hour, and because there apparently aren't too many people that are in that game anymore. And you know how it is. Once you find a trusted babysitter, that's the only one that you ever want to get. Yeah. Judge Francis Tydenko Gatewood, as an example, is fond of telling people that she used to babysit Shelley and I. Not true. Not true, Your Honor. Not true. She was there to sit for David and Mana when they were little kids. Not us. We were already, I was already like, 12, 13 years old or something like that. I didn't need babysitting. I didn't need any kind of adult supervision. Yeah, I'll just be in my room listening to my my Alice Cooper records, my Alice Cooper and my Elton John records. You don't have to worry about me. 8:47 in the morning, but yeah, $30 an hour, and that's amazing money. If you've got any teenage kids, are there any boy babysitters?
Tax-free.
Oh, under the table, completely.
Mostly,
Yeah, Daphne Shimazu doesn't know anything about those. It's like an invisible economy that we've got. And now that we're saying that on the radio, somebody in the Democratic Party of Guam is saying, "Yeah, we got to tax those kids. We've got to get our fair share of their earnings, in order to give out some raises in the government of Guam." All right, 8:47. As take a look at the table of contents. I feel duty bound to be able to do this. All right. Table of contents here. This will be an even more interesting story as more meat gets put on the bones of what happened at Two Lovers Point over the weekend. Tragic story. And we know that a baby has expired, maybe as a result of I don't know, but is that what led to the mom? Now we know a Navy sailor becoming so anxious about things that she thought maybe of ending her life by jumping from the lookout over at Two Lovers Point. More will be learned about that before too much longer, and you send prayers out to everybody that is involved in this, because it looks like it's one of those things where there's an edge, there's a cliff. And unfortunately, it looks like she might have gone over that. Questions that are swirling, and I don't want to make too much of a comparison between what happened there over the weekend and what happened in Texas. As more meat gets put on that bone, what was the nature of the mental health, clearly emergency, that was taking place with this young man that caused him to take his grandmother's life and then go shoot up a school? What has to go on there? And then we've got a companion other story here. The lady just rocks in cars on Route 4. And then we get the story of the guy that took the police on a chase and ended up being shot by a cop on Route 16. We still don't know too much about that. There just seems to be growing issues with mental health, and I wonder. I think I heard Bob Klitsky wondering a lot about that yesterday on his program. Is what's going on out there? Is there something in the water? Is there something in the air? Is there just an overall sense of we've lost control, and people need to have that sense of control in their lives? And once it's gone, the anxiety and the pressure of the mental health. I forget what the numbers are, but it's astonishing. Even a decade ago, 2 decades ago, when they were talking about the number of people out of 10 that have got some kind of mental health illness, some kind of mental health issue, that maybe a little bit of time in a therapist's couch might help. Maybe somebody that is capable of providing drugs that are strong enough are going to help. And we've seen, suicide numbers since COVID-19, and we know that those have all gone up. So somebody got to do some serious sitting down and talking, and hey, is everything okay with you? 10 away from the top of the hour. Other items in the headlines. My buddy John Savares has grabbed a senatorial packet. You go, boy. You go and see what happens with all of that, John. We've been watching, comments and statements that you've been making around medicinal marijuana all these years. It will be interesting to see what you can do with another 14 people to, bridge a gap between the rules and the regulations that we have now and other people with other dreams, goals, and desires, like mine, that Green Mile. I can almost, as I close my eyes and dream this thing out, I can almost see the place. Somewhere along where you get the 76 Circle K over here, and maybe someplace just a little bit north of that, maybe in what was the old Singer building, I believe. And maybe someplace in there where you can crack open the back, put a big sliding glass deck, the whole thing, right? Yeah. We got the front, and a big deck out in the front. We'll just put some chairs out there. Like if you could take Teray and make that back porch at Teray go out just a little bit, another 6 or 7 feet, right? And make something like that. And then there's no little J&G door at the side. It would be one big, huge folding panel. And so the inside would be outside. And we'd have air conditioning and lots of fans and a bar and someplace and lots of pillows. Lots of pillows. Lots of different colored pillows. And it'll be pirate themed. I mean, not like Pirates Cove theme, like that. Yeah, my buddy's got a pirate house. It'd be kind of like that, and maybe we have swimming pool, not a swimming pool, like a hot tub. Hot tub, is a hot tub good when you're smoking dope?
Hot tub is great.
When you're
it's all about relaxation.
When you're smoking marijuana,
it's great. Yes.
Okay, so we get a couple of things like that, and all these little places, just niches, if you will, of where people can go and hang out. And you know what I'd like? Those like long Bali beds.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Like it looks like it's same thing as a bench, but it's like a bed, and you can fit like 5 or 6 people just having a good time. We'd have some cool groovy music playing off in the background. Get a cold beer, someplace to smoke your dope and enjoy the buzz, and you can hear the ocean. And even if it rains, right, just close those sliding doors and watch the rest of it. And everything would be priced like $20. How much for beer? $20. How much for iced coffee? $20.
If you build it, Ray.
I know. Somebody put that plan together for me, and even though I don't smoke hardly any, it'd still be someplace fun to hang out and watch my friends get high, if you know what I mean. Brace. Is there going to be a rate hike? Well, yes. And I don't know, even if the Governor Leon Guerrero takes all of the money left over in the rescue plan and hands everything to Tracy and John Benevente over at the Power, I still think there is going to be a price hike. And there's not much that can be done about it. I've gone through the entire house from one end to the other. And there are about 3 places where I know the electricity is making, back in the old days, we used to have spinning meters before we had radio read meters. We used to have these things that spin around. And you could, you go outside and watch the thing turn. And you go, oh, it's going too fast. I need to turn stuff off. I need to unplug stuff. And then you get it. So it's just slow, almost imperceptibly moving. That's what we need to get to. Now we get the digital thing. But I know where the big amp draws are at my house. I've got a dryer over there. And I know what you're saying. Well, just go to a clothesline. Shut up. Not my mom. I'm not going to I'm not going to hang my clothes.
You're not going to change your life, Ray?
No. I've made the sacrifice already. I bought the most expensive washing machine that I could buy, and it goes through a spin cycle that you wouldn't believe. So when the clothes come out, there's no water in them at all. You put it in the dryer, so the dryer doesn't have to work as hard. So I've already done that. And I think that's all that needs to be done. I only do, a load a week, practically, and maybe even less than that. I've begun to read. Some of you are going to get grossed out, but I'm reading. It was in a recent Runner's magazine, and I'm going to complain here just briefly, which has gotten way too woke for me. I don't think I'm going to let that. Let that subscription lapse. At any rate. And what they are suggesting, and because running athletic clothes are extremely expensive. And what they are suggesting now is, number one, don't wash them every time you wear them. And I'm going, what? And that's exactly what they're recommending. So if you got, one of those dry fit kind of, technical shirts, we call them, real cool material, supposed to wick off your sweat and things like that. They just say, just dry it when you're done running, and don't worry, you wear it 2 or 3 times before you wash it. And I'm going, you stinky people. No way. And they say, don't dry them because they're so technical these days, and they're using such exotic scientific sci-fi materials in them that if you throw them in the dryer, constantly heating them up will actually change the molecular connections. And in the very worst cases, it'll start to fray the elastic on the waistbands. So they said, you don't want to do that. But the weird thing is, and they're saying it, I'm seeing it in a few other places where they're saying, you know what, for the most part, unless you are working outside and the clothes actually get dirty, soiled, then, there's nothing wrong with, put it on a coat hanger and wear it again next couple of days. Go ahead and let them sit in the funk for a couple of days before you wash them again. Are you ready to make that sacrifice to save on your laundry, on the laundry/electric bill at the house? So that's one of the places where I got it. I turn on the hot water heater. It is on for 20 minutes in the morning. I turn it on at 4:05. I'm out of the shower by 4:20 and 4:20. All right, and then go quickly to the machine and turn it off. The worst days are the ones where I forget. So that's one of 2 draws. And then the only other 2 are air conditioners. I've got one that takes care of the living room, kitchen, dining area, and then there's one in the master bedroom. There's one in my daughter's room has not been touched since the last time that she was in that room. It's every once in a while go and turn the thing on.
Crank it.
Yeah, just to make sure that it still works. But the point is all those three things. Every other light bulb. Oh, there's a refrigerator. But I mean, how much electricity does a refrigerator is that going to cost me per month? The scary answer is I don't know. I've got to surveil that. I cannot find. I used to have one. I think I loaned it to Mana, and I don't know where she put it. I used to have a device called a Kilowatt, KILLER-watt. And the deal is you plug it into an outlet, and then you plug something into it. And it will tell you over time how much electricity it is drawing. And there's calculations that you can do on it. You put in the cost per kilowatt hour, and it'll tell you how much this coffee pot or coffee maker is charging while it's plugged in, how much the microwave is costing you. It will keep track of all of this and give you an idea of how much electricity it is drawing on a real-time basis. VCR, yes. It's just the
clock.
I don't have none of that
That's
stuff.
going to cost you.
None of that stuff. Well, so I've got on the stove, it's an analog clock, and I can hear it running, and I'm wondering how much electricity is that running. I don't use that for time. All these questions, and you got to go through all of this. My guess is based on my understanding of the audience that I'm talking to right now is we have probably all at one time or another recently done all of that and have done our census in the house of everything that is plugged in and drawing electricity, and we're using it as little as we humanly possibly can. But the electric bill is still going up. It ain't the kilowatt hours, baby. It is the LEAC, is the cost of fuel that is causing those bills to rise. I don't think it's your use of them. So what do we do now? What do we do? How do we save even more? Somebody out there is going, Ray, cold showers. And the answer is no. I want clean clothes. I want hot showers. And I'm addicted to air conditioning. So, yeah, I want all of those things. 888-8255-888-TALK. Other items in the table of contents that we'll get around to getting to. Haven't had too much too many opportunities. Oh, and you're welcome if you've got other ideas. If you've got other ways that I, Frank, and other listeners might be able to save money on the electricity that doesn't involve me climbing a pole and stealing electricity from my neighbors, I'm all ears. 888-8255. Hit me up on the Facebook Live. Hit me up on the YouTube Live. And because you have been so good, here's another look at Janine and her beach time yesterday. 9 o'clock in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. Stand by. Fox News Live is coming up in, 20 seconds or so. Listen to the music. It'll make you feel better.
His intentions online. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Authorities in Texas releasing more information about what happened before an 18-year-old opened fire yesterday at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, a small town west of San Antonio, killing 19 students and 2 educators.
We are learning from authorities that 30 minutes before the shooting, the suspect apparently sent some messages on social media. Now, we don't know where they went, who they went to, and when they opened them up, but 2 of those messages, according to officials, talked about shooting his grandmother. The 3rd talking about wanting to go to an elementary school to shoot it up. Authorities did confirm that after shooting his grandmother, the suspect then drove away from that scene, crashing his pickup truck near Robb Elementary School. We're told there was an armed school police officer on campus, but it didn't stop the suspect from getting inside the school.
Fox's Jeff Paul in Uvalde. President Biden has urged lawmakers to take action on gun legislation, but Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has said it likely won't happen anytime soon. Still, he says something needs to be done.
There is a plague upon this nation, a plague of gun violence that has taken over this country.
Republican leader Mitch McConnell.
Sickening to consider the innocent young lives that were stolen by this pointless, senseless, brutality.
Still, the last time the Senate took up gun legislation, they were unable to overcome the 60-vote filibuster threshold. 2 years after the death of George Floyd at the hands of police in Minneapolis, President Biden has signed an executive order on police accountability. The United Nations is calling for a vote in the coming days on a resolution that would impose tougher sanctions on North Korea for its recent missile launches that have the potential to be armed with nuclear weapons. America is listening to Fox News.
JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, traffic signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
Half a day, this is Honey. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Wyoming officials say a fire at the site of a new abortion clinic may have been deliberate.
Police in Casper say an overnight fire causing damage to a building being renovated to house an abortion clinic may be arson. A witness tells investigators they saw someone running away from the area carrying what looked to be a gas can and a black bag. No injuries were reported. Officials are reviewing video footage in hopes of identifying a suspect. Pro-life supporters recently protesting the clinic set to open in June, becoming the second location in Wyoming to offer abortions. The debate over reproductive rights heating up after a leaked Supreme Court draft opinion suggesting the court could overturn Roe v. Wade, the landmark decision legalizing abortion. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
More than 40 Democratic members of Congress are calling on Google to stop what they see as the unnecessary collection and retention of users' location data. The lawmakers say it could be used to identify women seeking abortions. The lawmakers have sent a letter to the CEO of Google's parent company, Alphabet, expressing concern that if abortion became illegal in the U.S., Google's collecting of user information could be exploited by far-right extremists. The Anaheim City Council has unanimously decided to cancel the sale of Angels Stadium to Angels owner Artie Moreno.
In a statement, the city said the vote follows the May 16th notice of a federal investigation into former Mayor Harry Sidhu stemming from actions he may have taken related to the stadium site proposal. Anaheim Mayor Pro Tem Trevor O'Neill said, knowing there may have been an element of corruption that brought the final product to us, we cannot move forward in good conscience.
Fox's Jared Max. President Biden paying tribute to late VA chief and Senator Max Cleland, who lost limbs while serving in Vietnam. In a letter, the president called Cleland a hero who exemplified the best of American spirit. Cleland died in November, but his memorial service was delayed until today because of the pandemic. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Subway's Eat Fresh Refresh does it again, bringing back a classic fan favorite on the menu. The roast beef returns. And not just any roast beef, it's choice Angus roast beef, flavorful and satisfying on its own, or layered with oven-roasted turkey and Black Forest ham in the Subway Club. Whether you're a choice Angus roast beef purist or like the variety of the Subway Club, both come piled high on hearty multi-grain bread with fresh hand-sliced veggies. Get your fill of the new roast beef at Subway. Eat fresh.
Kings Guam World Tennis Tour, presented by GTA, is bringing international tennis back to Guam. 4 weeks of international play will swing into action. 2 weeks of juniors, followed by 2 weeks of pros, May the 15th through June 12th. The Guam National Tennis Federation will host world-ranked players who will be coming to Guam from all over the world. Netters will compete for ranking points and cash to improve their position among the world's best. Matches will be played daily at the Guam National Tennis Center in Harmon, starting May 15th through June 12th. Special thanks to our platinum sponsors, Dimension Systems, New Gen, American Medical Center, and Morico Equipment.
Is your business ready for digital transformation? The latest Wi-Fi technology is here, and it's Docomo Pacific's WorkPass, powered by Plume. WorkPass unlocks connectivity, productivity, and security tools all in the palm of your hand. Access features like adaptive Wi-Fi, guest and employee networks, evolving AI security, plus so much more. To learn more about WorkPass, visit business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
All right, some crazy stuff coming out of Booney tomorrow on the YouTube side. Maybe I will plumb the depths of his philosophy here by reading some of these in a little bit. 6 after 9 o'clock in the morning. Ray Gibson Show brought to you by the guys over at APL, American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. Also, the people over at Cold Stone Creamery, ice cream place. Maybe you've heard of it. They got one over at the mall. Still GPO, right? ColdStoneCreamery.com on the World Wide Web. That's where we want you to go and get your favorite some graduation-themed ice cream cakes. They can do that for you. Father's Day is coming up as well, although, it's not as big a deal as Mother's Day, which it should be. Huh? You know what it should be? Can we? Anyway, Father's Day, ice cream cakes, ColdStoneCreamery.com. Make the order today.
Rediscover talk radio here. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
I'll say it's going to piss a lot of women up, but I'm going to say it anyway. You know what? At Father's Day, everybody says, "Oh, happy Father's Day," and then and all the single moms too. Their moms and dads. No. You cannot replace a dad. Sorry, you cannot say I was a single mom, so I was the mom and the dad. No, a dad is a dad is a dad. I mean, there's just no way around something like that. Decisions get made. Yeah, there are challenges in lives, but there is no replacing a father. And maybe to a degree, and I think maybe Bob Klitsky was talking some of this stuff here. It is, you think about what's changed in society. It gets a little serious here, right? Ponder this concept. They say it takes a village to raise a kid. But at the center of that family village has got to be a mom and a dad. And I believe in that kind of family and that kind of family structure. And even though there needs to be males, there needs to be strong male figures in families that can help guide both young men and young women as they grow up, as they mature, to be able to provide a perspective that I think that you can only get from a man who is in the business of being a real man, and every once in a while having to go to war or fight a battle or slay a dragon at work or do all of the things that only men should be doing. I'm not going to say that we're incapable of it. I remember when young Mason got into my life, and there was a woman that said, after the baby's delivered, there's nothing that the mom can do that you can't. And I said, what about breastfeeding? And she said, after the baby is delivered, except for breastfeeding, there's nothing that, that the mom can do that you can't. So get in there and help out. And I took to the degree that I could. I helped out as much as I could, washing clothes and folding diapers and changing diapers and all of those kinds of things and making formula. Did that with Mason, did that with Mayumi, and I really, really enjoyed the time that I was allowed to do that. And I'm honored that that there are people in the world that call me Dad. I love that. And while she's not as, conservative as me or my old man was, I can tell by talking to Mayumi that she's got, the sense that God gave horses and the ability to question authority and defy on her own terms when she needs to. And I don't know that she would have gotten any of that stuff had a dad not been in her life. And so I'm wondering, we were talking about mental health issues that we've got, and maybe an example in the shooter in Texas. To what degree was there a strong male presence in this young man's life? To what degree, in any of the cases that we've heard recently, to what degree has there been a strong male figure in their lives? Or did somebody go, well, I don't need no man in my life. I can raise this kid on my own. I'll be the mother and the father. I think in many cases, miss out. It doesn't have to be the real father, but there does need to be a strong male presence. My mom and dad divorced when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and she remarried. And, I called Dave Daddy Dave, and he was a strong male figure in my life. as I'm kind of building and rebuilding the home that we lived in for a long time when I was a kid, I'm remembering a lot of the lessons that he taught me, and lessons about, rolling up the hose and painting a wall or turning a screw. Same lessons my dad taught me. But the point is that they were both two strong male figures in my life. And then my grandfather, Uncle Joe, Uncle Jim, any number, Uncle Gonzalo Regis. Oh, my God, you want to talk about a strong male figure in my life. These are the guys that showed me in many stark ways the difference between right and wrong, and the difference between being an honorable person and a dishonorable person. And for that, I'm grateful. 888-825-5888. Okay, so happy Father's Day. It's coming up down the road. And if, for those of you that are young boys that are being raised by a single mother, good on you. And if you're looking for strong males around you, find right here this radio station. This is where you will get a little bit of that strong male presence. Yes, I'll be your daddy. And I'm gonna teach you how to restring a bush cutter. I'm gonna teach you how to work with LPG gas. And we'll work electricity. I'll teach you about working with electricity. Here, I'll give you a hint right now. Okay, so you're gonna screw something into the wall, right? Or you're gonna put a thread, like a couple of nuts and bolts.
Wet your fingers first?
No, what you want to do is you want to when you're nut over here, bolt over here. Sorry, bolt over here, nut over here. What you want to do is go backwards half a turn with the nut. Let it find out where the groove enter is, and then start to spin it. A lot of guys will start spinning, and it'll get tough, and you just nut the thing, and kind of rip it and grip it. And the problem is you'll ruin the threads. So what you want to do is you want to back it out just a half a turn and find out where it clicks in, and that's the spot to begin turning. And it will always work for you every single time. So a little bit of backwards and then forwards on the nuts and bolts. Teach you some other ways to how to free it. No, I had to do that.
Lucy, righty tighty.
Yeah, to do all of that stuff the other day. Yeah, heaters. It's a little flame torch, flame thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead and hit. Yeah, if you're having a hard time taking it out. Colin is listening to this going. Colin's going. Oh man, he knows all my secrets.
Just hold the flashlight.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, I said, could you hold the flashlight? There's guys that got PTSD right now from I'm not holding it right. I got to do a shout here 913 and a shout out to my bro Peter Santos, who has found a way to buy my vote. Sorry, Mike St. Nicholas, I cannot vote for you anymore. Even though you brought me stuff from Washington D.C.
Wow.
Peter Santos from Washington State has brought for me the bottle opener. We talked about this the other day because we had to kill 10 minutes. You remember? And so he was doing some shopping in Washington State and got a bottle opener. And I'm sure he's thinking, oh, everybody's going to make a big deal about this. Oh, hell yeah, I got another hour to kill. This is small talk portion. This, by the way, is the small talk portion of the program. Do not be expecting any life-changing tectonic news or information out of this hour in the program. This is the one that is set aside generally so that I can entertain myself for the next 45 minutes. Stateside, a lot of talk shows only do 3 hours. We do 4 around here because I want to get as much money as possible from our advertisers. Having said that, though, I got to do shouts to Peter, who is in Washington State and found me this bottle opener. And it's not just any bottle opener. It's not just so you're looking at the thing going, oh wow, we got to do that for Guam. Let's get somebody to knock out some brass fixture for the bottle, or buy them over at Home Depot, and then you put it on a piece of wood. Not any ordinary piece of wood. Came from Washington State. What do we have up in Washington State?
Maple.
Old hippies.
Old hippies.
So what we've got here is it's made of bamboo.
Really?
Yes. It's made from and there's a little flyer comes with it. Says, why bamboo? Because bamboo is a grass that grows to maturity in only 3 to 5 years. It does not need to be replanted, artificially irrigated, or fertilized, making it one of the world's most renewable resources. Anybody that has ever started with, quote, decorative bamboo in their yard knows about 5 years later that you are unable to tame it. You need to call in a guy with a backhoe to pull this thing, all of it, out of the ground. Otherwise, it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing. So you know about this. But they figured out a way to turn this into a piece of wood, a plank, basically. Yeah, of bamboo, and it's laminated.
That here, right, Ray?
Huh?
We have bamboo here, right?
Dude, everywhere. There's go down south every time it gets rainy season. What do you think is clogging the channels and causing all that flooding down south? It's this bamboo.
Let's turn it into money.
Go Pirates Cove. You go by Pirates Cove. There was almost at any time of year piles of. Oh God, I love it when they burn that stuff. I was there once. We were there once for a burning. You remember?
It pops, man.
It was great. Oh, yeah, explodes because there's air chambers in there and they heat up. But anyway, so yeah, is that something that we might be able to turn into some kind of industry here on Guam? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. But here's the thing: just as soon as we get to say, "Oh, we're gonna make bottle opener things out of bamboo that it's going to run right here on Guam," what's going to happen is there's going to be a company in China that will put this thing together and sell it, slap the Guam logo on it, and sell it back to us for half price. So if so whatever idea that you just had for an industry with bamboo. Forget it. The Chinese, they already got the recipe for bamboo. That's how they build high-rises. They wrap these things around with bamboo and scamper up and down on those. 9:16 in the morning. But thank you, Peter. I appreciate that. Now, there's one other feature about this that is not readily visible for those of you watching it on the thing. Do you know what it is?
Is there a magnet in there?
There's a magnet in here.
And it
Yes, there is.
catches the cap.
It catches the cap. What? We got to break this thing in, bro. Backyard, right next to all my new fancy barbecue gear.
Bottle opener warming.
It is 9:17. Crap, that didn't kill as much time as I thought it was going to. But thank you, Peter Santos. And like I said, Mike Nicholas, if you want me to continue to talk about you on the radio and suggest that I'm going to vote for you against Peter Santos and Levin Camacho in the upcoming election for Attorney General, you're going to likewise have to come up with some kind of clever beer drinking kind of accessory for me. Do they have that at Congress? Do they have a thing? Do they have bottle openers from the House of Representatives?
Koozies?
Saying Yeti cooler, Yeti koozie,
Congress Yeti koozie.
Yeti koozie. So I got a Yeti koozie, and I showed it to my friend the other day, and he says, "Oh my God, that's so gay." I'm like, what? Because it's white.
Better put an air tag in that sucker, man. It'll disappear.
Well, it's just it's like this, but and you can find them. Most of the hotel duty-free stores have them now, and it is designed to hold slim cans, which seltzers and
it's popular now.
Yeah, Ultimate Ultras and Heineken Lights come in, but he said, "Oh, it's white." Why is that? I'm trying to figure out why that's gay. Do you know?
White power.
Or white power. Somebody will tell me. So we were talking in the last hour of the Ray Gibson Show. It's amazing. I have more listeners now than we had when we started. We were talking about saving electricity. And I said, well, you can save a lot of electricity by doing as little laundry as you can get away with. It takes a little bit of electricity, not as much as you think, to run the washer, but also the dryer. And so I said, try to wear your clothes more than once before you put them in the hamper and send them to the dryer. To which Colin Clark said, you can wear each pair of underwear twice.
Okay. You better check for skid marks, bro.
Dude, he's got a new baby coming into that house. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's one of the lessons you want from that strong male father figure in the house. Randy Landis says, I split my 2-ply. You're paying a lot of money for that toilet paper, and just peel it apart, and you can save. You don't have to use. I don't know, buddy. I don't know about that. And a lot of guys aren't buying 2-ply anymore. What we do is we go by the foodies and pretend like we're going to get like a sandwich or something like that, and just grab a handful of napkins every single time. Dennis Benzer is just going. Wait a second. Somebody wrote, "Oh wow, Mana is a 10." Dennis Benzer's going, "You just now realizing that?" Nick Perlowski, Randy Landis, how did we get on this crappy subject? And Randy says, "S word if I know. Gun control is the plan," says Mike Grace Bloss. And Randy Landis also referring now, it's a Ray Gibson tangential. That'll happen every once in a while, guys. Dave Duenas, Biba says, unplug everything not actively in use. If plugged and not running, like fans, toasters, microwave ovens, it draws power. You'll see a reduction in your power bill. Phantom power.
How's power leaking?
I don't know.
It's leaking.
Transformers that might be connected to something are always transforming, I guess is the line. So I don't disagree with that. Just unplug everything. Rico Blancaflor online. Colin Therese Uggan. Stop in at commissary yesterday before exiting Anderson Air Force Base and stocked up on $6 some rolls of 12-pack toilet paper and paper towels. Yeah, went in for prenatal pills and came out stocked up. Yep, that'll happen. Big Sister Shelly online, Joe and Goko, Luke S. and Angel is there. Jose Martinez, I see Jenna Cruz watching the program. Right-click on that. I got a sunset picture, but you never know what kind of beauty lies behind the generic sunset picture. It might also be fake account. Onadvel Mendy Baguio is watching. Carl Meyer, Jerome, very true. I'm not only a father, but also I'm looked up to as an uncle. A male sting presence is vital. Male sting presence. What were you trying to write there? Or were you actually talking about being able to swap one of the nephews and nieces in your life? Every day grateful for my brothers helping me. She said, so sad about those kids. I wonder, does Guam provide free counseling for kids, parental marriages, drugs, AA, like Alcohol Anonymous? There are programs like these in the States. Cali, for sure, I know. Charles Craw online. Joey, I bet somewhere on the wood it says made in China.
No, please.
Says totally bamboo on it, but it's...
You got to make your eyes like this, Ray.
Yes. TotallyBamboo.com. Designed in California, USA, but made in China.
Wow.
And you can go to TotallyBamboo.com on the World Wide Web and learn a little bit more about this. So what did I say? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what great idea, something you can say, we're going to do this, man. We're going to be the bamboo capital of the world. You'll never, ever be able to beat China. Sarah Lake's there. Bertha Mazza Cruz. Let me see, Sarah Lake. That's why you're a great dad, Ray. You understand the role of each parent and how each one contributes significantly. Sorry, I cannot do what fathers do for their children and vice versa. How about, it says, a Father's Day bash at Collins World where the ladies cook us chow and us males hike it down to Jeff's for, wait a second, cocktails. Why don't we just have Jeff bring cocktails up to your house? Why do we have to go down? Why do we have to move on Father's Day?
That's a lot of work,
Can
man.
I just, tell you what, we just, here's what we ought to do. And I'm not disagreeing with you. I think it's a terrific idea. Let's have a camp out over at your place, and we'll just sleep over. And then when it gets to be Father's Day, we'll just go out there in our chairs and our bahakis and just be waited on all day. That's what I'm saying. Just get all of the women in our lives. Just trying to
fanning us.
Yeah. Just getting into actual arguments about, number one, who's got the best guy in their life, A, and B, who can come up with better ideas on how to keep us entertained all day long for Father's Day. Work on that, ladies. Franklin Meno is online. Who else is playing around? Senator Jim Moylan is hanging out. So's Albert Uggan and Senator Jesse Anderson-Lahan watching the program. That's what he was. Jerome says I was trying to say strong, not sting, but sting works too if that's where you're at. 888-825-5888-TALK. Oh my God, I didn't realize Dr. Ron McNinch was on the phone for his daily.
Doc is here.
This is part of his constitutional, and it may also have been part of a settlement, a legal settlement, that he's got to call the radio station at least once a day. Buenos Jen Hoffaday. Here he is, the author of a great column in today's Guam Daily Post. Doctor.
Hey, Hoffaday Ray, Hoffaday Guam.
So I was riffing a little bit early in this hour about what maybe is the problem and why we've got so many mental health issues here on Guam. Here in this day and age, I mean, it seems to be spreading around. It seems like every other day we get another story from, and the magistrate report's kind of full of them, where we've got somebody that is caught crazy out there somewhere. And I'm wondering aloud if some of this may have to do with the fact that people are not being raised the same way that they were before. I mean, back in the day, there were crazy people. I grew up with crazy kids that had mom and dads, but so much has changed about the way that we view, perceive, and label families, and it is not uncommon to see where kids are being raised in single-parent homes and never really getting the benefit of having strong male figures in their life. And I wonder if something like that were a little bit more common, we'd be raising kids that have got a little bit more by way of common sense and a little bit more by way of, I'll use the word resiliency, Doc, so that they know how to bounce back when they get bullied in school, or when a girl says, I don't love you anymore, or when something tectonic and tragic happens in their lives. I think there are too many kids that are getting raised these days that don't know how to do that, or aren't maybe not learning it from their mother, and certainly not learning it from a strong male father figure that says, hey, get up, dust yourself off, move on, kid. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fairly complex subject. First, there's a whole category of mental health that's centered around substance abuse. And so, you and the real Joe kind of make light of, the bad antics of meth addicts and how stupid they are and many of the stupid things they do that get them into legal and even mental health trouble.
Yeah.
Because of the addiction to meth or other drugs. And so certainly that's a whole category. Our young people today, and I think, Ray, we're about the same age. We're like within a year of each other growing up. I was born in 1963.
Well, 62.
Yeah, and so we're within like a year of each other. And the pressures on young people today that are largely the result of social media and technology are incredible, just absolutely incredible compared to the social pressures we had when we were young. When we were young, we were worried about somebody calling us on the telephone once or twice a month, not being bombarded 20 or 30 times a day on a device from people all over the place, putting pressures on us to conform or align our lives with them based on some whimsical view. The pressures on young people today are just incredible, and it's unfortunate because a lot of the social media or device-based pressures are really cartoon characters in comparison to the realities of life. And yet young people often can't differentiate between what matters and what really doesn't matter. And that's where an experienced adult can tell them, so what? Nobody cares. People are going to forget in 20 minutes what was said on whatever. It's not going to last forever. But in many ways, it can last forever because people can search stuff forever. And so there are all these interesting, contrasts our young people have to deal with. And then
I'll give you some of that, but still, in all, here's a concept that I don't think works on young people today, and it's something that was drilled into my existence from a very early age. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And it is amazing how you can get people, the younger people today that will just fall into a fetal position if somebody says something to them that is not complimentary, that is not nice. There are whole lines being drawn in high schools right now where somebody said something about somebody and they just can't get over it. And, I was a big, mouthy, skinny alley kid when I grew up on Guam. You better believe that I was cause for my own attention. And people that said things about me. For the most part, I could care less then. I care even less now. And I was lucky, though, because, if I complained about it to my mom, my mother would soothe me. But still, at the end of it, she'd kick me in the ass and say, okay, what are you going to do about it? Dust yourself off and move on. And I don't know that we're teaching our kids how to dust themselves off and move on. There's a reason why the language and the word snowflake no longer means a snowflake of ice.
Well, we do appear to have a whole generation of snowflakes who can't stand up to even the least amount of criticism or pressure. Our young people need to have examples and role models that teach them resiliency and durability. I think that another thing, and this is something that I was thinking about for the last 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you grew up here, you understand how things work here. You have a social network system that reinforces and supports you and loves you and cares about you. A lot of folks who live here, though, don't really have that. Some people in the military here don't have that. They don't have a wider social network net really support them when their life becomes difficult. And that's a big part of it. Or people don't have friends, or friends in the same way that kind of serve as proxies for that support net. And it's really, really hard on an island, because people can feel isolated and cut out very, very, very quickly. And they can feel, the cycle of depression.
Oh, I think a lot of that. I think a lot of that in recent memory would have stemmed from COVID-19, and the people that are still choosing to self-isolate with masks. I see it, and it's kind of common joke among some of us that never like the mask is to still see people that are walking around with a mask on outside in the car by themselves, and you're going, well, what is that? I'm wondering to what degree now. And I was joking about it as soon as the governor had lifted that restriction. I said, for a lot of people, I'm wondering if the mask is their security blanket. It's the new whoopee for a lot of people, and I think I'm right. I think I'm right. It's possible that there might be some people that have grown so used to wearing it and being able to use that to shield themselves from the rest of the world that they're going to have a really, really difficult time getting out from under it. It is not an inconvenience for them. It's not unattractive to them. It is now their kind of guardrail against society.
I believe that the mental health impact of the mask and the effects of the mask on individuals has not been assessed yet. And I think it's been significant. I was just walking to Payless yesterday with my wife to get some water, and there are two little kids walking with their mom, and one of them looked at me, neither of them had the mask on, and smiled at me, and they were so happy that I smiled back and waved at them a little bit. And these were like 3 or 4 year old kids, and they were yearning for people to interact with them on a normal social level. The other thing is the effects of what Durkheim, who's a very famous sociologist, called anomie. The effect when you cover your face and people cannot see you. The effect of chaos that it makes for people from a social standpoint, being able to hide and move among us as if there's nothing wrong with that. There is something wrong with that. There is something wrong with people wanting to cover their face all the time, especially when they don't need to.
Right. So when do we get to know more about these folks and this? I'm refer to it now as a new kind of malady. I don't know. 9:33 in the morning. Interesting conversation as usual with Dr. Ron McNish. I urge you to take a look at, as usual, his paperwork in today's Guam Daily Post. Interesting article about ethics and law and the tangled jumble of laws that exist here on Guam. One of these days, somebody will run for office on the platform. I think Judy Guthridge did a few years ago with an attempt to put some staff on all of these laws, some of which are duplicates of one measure or another, and some which are in direct conflict with other laws. So we'll learn a little bit more about that as days go on. Ron, I'm going to run.
Hey, thank you so much, Ray. And hey, I want that martial arts license taken off the books.
You mean like my cousin Freddie Berdalio, who has a black belt in everything?
Yeah,
and had to go and register with the fire department because these hands are lethal weapons. Lethal weapons.
And we're not joking, Ray. It's actually a law.
I believe you. I think we talked about this on the air once upon a time, where there were guys that come out of the military or something like that and had to go before the man and register and say, yes, I have significant amount of training. Well, take a look at it, chapter and verse, and we'll send it to somebody over at the legislature after we've solved all of the rest of the problems. Like, have we got the ban? Can we ban? Yes, since they're banning paper bags, can we also ban paper straws? Same mentality. If making a paper bag is bad, then making a paper straw is just as bad. I hate paper straws, and there are businesses that I don't go to anymore because they have paper straws. And they give it to me with my water, and I'll drink it, and about 2 minutes later, it's like I'm drinking water through mush, and that doesn't make anybody happy. That's worth the lives of a couple of turtles, isn't it? Just saying. Ron, I'll see you soon, buddy.
Hey, have a great day. Thank you.
Promise I will. So you got the phone number. Don't be shy about using it. 888-825-5888-TALK is the telephone number. Let me see. Booney Dog says, I'll paraphrase my favorite conservative. I'd rather be ruled by 200 random names out of the phone book than by the faculty at UOG. Oh, it was a dig against Ron. Sorry about Ron, don't read the comments. Don't read the comments. But even Ron, he's one of these guys. I don't care. He'll defend himself. He'll defend himself. But, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Booney Dog tomorrow. Of all of the people on the YouTube side, right? He's the one who I appreciate the most because he's not afraid to give me a hard time and call me out on stuff on the YouTube side. And I think that's wonderful. Tihu Tungo. Most people making more than $45,000 a year didn't fight back because mandates didn't affect them. People got the jab so that they could fly, not to die. Okay, I don't know about the money angle on it. I know some people that make less than $45,000 a year that did not get the jab and didn't care what their boss's determination was. And if it was one of those things where you got to get the jab or you can't work here anymore, and they say, okay, see you later, bye bye. Hey, look, the screen door didn't hit me on the butt on the way out. How about that? And there is something to be said about having that kind of economic freedom. I don't know if I'm going to say it, but yeah, I remember when I was much, younger, didn't have a title at the end of my name, didn't have a mortgage to take care of, power bills to pay, and there were times when I would consider myself economically portable, if that makes any sense. Where if the boss said one more thing about this, that, or the other, then I'm gone. I'm going to split. And there's nothing, I think every once in a while I ponder, I think about those kind of times. What would my life be like, Peter Santos, if I didn't have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and come to work every day? Would I still have a roof over my head? Would I still be able to cover the power bill? Would I still be able to go get a craft beer every once in a while? I think the answer is yes, because I would immediately become one of those guys that lives off the government. I would immediately, you know what kind of meat you can buy with a Quest card, bro? And you can buy virtually everything at the store can be covered by Uncle Sam. And there's a lot of people that have figured out how to be economically portable that way, and live off the largesse of the taxpayer and government for as long as they want to. Pedro, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. That reminds me of a joke I once heard about this guy that saw another dude at the grocery store using food stamps. Tells how old this joke is, right?
Food stamps,
says, yeah. He says, hey, man, I guess you got to really swallow your pride to use those food stamps. He goes, yeah, but I also swallow steak. I also swallow shrimp. I also swallow lobster,
So if you make too much money, the end of this is you make too much money. You don't qualify for this. You have to count every penny. You got to count every nickel and every dime. And when you're in those programs, I tell you what, I'm thinking we're having tomahawk steaks for dinner tonight because you didn't pay for that tomahawk steak. The taxpayers did. So yeah, I'm buying all the delicious. I think we're going to have some aged beef, and maybe we'll mix that up. We'll have some lobster on the side. Or you're right. I'm not going to buy the small shrimp. Screw that. I'm going to go and get the big, massive prawn size, arm size shrimps, right?
Or we ask all our relatives that have EBT what they can bring for the party.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they can go and buy cases and cases of meat and whatever they need.
Now, somebody's going to say, oh, this is the new times talking, and the answer is no. Back before it was our friends and family with EBT cards and Quest cards or whatever, it was, hey, who can shop on base? We need to go and get good meat from the base and go and get some, Poser's Pride. What's the name of the soda that they have on base? Patriots Pride.
Right. Hey, but every time I take a trip, I like to come back and, share my perspectives. Ray, I went out there for a wedding. I was just there for 4 days.
Cool.
But, everything we see and hear in the national news and all that, it's all a lot of hype because when I was out there, just talking to normal folk, my relatives and everything, nobody was like panicking. Nobody was going nuts. They were just living their life, going to work, doing what they do. not wearing masks and just going about their business. And admittedly, a lot of my friends and relatives over there don't watch the news. You know what I'm saying? So the more you watch the news, the more stressful your life is.
Well, but you still got to know what's going on around the world, don't you? I mean, how did they?
You do, but it's something. If you know that it's going to work you up, then just ignore it. But I got to call BS on Ron McNinch about how he said the kids, those little 2- and 3-year-olds, were yearning for interaction. That's any 2- or 3-year-old. You smile at them, they smile back. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. He became all of a sudden Dr. Freud or something. But yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to ask the questions kind of out in the open. I mean, you've got perspective as a police officer, and I'm showing the pictures now with you and your Smokey Bear hat. And then there's the video, which oddly enough is matching your movements now, matching your words as you speak now. But on screen, this is Peter Santos, and he's running for the Attorney General's office. But as a police officer, obviously intimate with the criminal world and the criminal justice. But you're also, as a first responder, sometimes have to be the first one there when somebody goes over the edge. And we say that sometimes our problems are brought on by substance abuse, alcohol abuse, but sometimes our problems are brought on by these voices in our head and it's inescapable anxieties that will eventually bubble up to the surface and make it so that a policeman had to be called. How did you deal with that? And at the end of your shift, what were some of your reflections? Where have we taken a turn off the trail so that people just can't handle as well as they could have? Can you imagine the people that we've got now back in the war days? How would they have handled the anxiety of having to live under somebody else's rule? Our parents and grandparents managed it.
Yeah, that's a very good question, Ray, and I'll answer it like this. Back when I was a police officer, we had, it was a different time. Our community was more close-knit. Everybody knew each other. So if we knew someone was acting crazy, we already knew that person, right? Nowadays, we're dealing with strangers. Back then, we also had the old police officers, again, that also knew everybody. So I do remember responding to some hairy situations, and then a veteran cop shows up on the scene and then, hey, Frankie this, or hey, Mike this, and then all of a sudden diffuses the situation. Nowadays, nobody knows anybody. And so when you get there, officer survival, you have to be on the sort of like what George Bush called, a preemptive defense, right?
Yeah. Because
it's going to be either you or him going home that night to your family, right? So unfortunately, these are modern times, and with the mental health issues we have in the community, just nowadays nobody knows everybody. Not everybody knows everybody anymore, and so the interaction becomes more of a stranger on stranger type situation. Back in the day, like I said, everybody knew Frankie, everybody knew George, everybody knew Mike, and they were a little bit off, but they weren't dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Or they could be smoothed.
Right.
Yeah, we pet them a little bit, give them a hug. Conversations. Yeah. I don't disagree with that. I forget what the number is, what the percentage when we start talking about overcrowding, and I don't know that Guam is overcrowded, and except when I'm on Marine Corps Drive at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, then I go, yeah, there's way too many people living here. But I'm old enough to remember where you knew everybody on Guam. You knew people by car. You could drive by someplace and know who was there because we all knew everybody else's cars. And we all attended the same kind of church. We all went through Christmas and holidays together. Everybody shopping at the same 4 stores that we had on Guam back when there were far fewer of us. But now 150,000 people that maybe are strangers to one another. You're right.
Yeah, everybody knew everybody from the village. You may remember that one lady that used to go around saying "Pak Pakitano boom," She knew everybody. All the cops knew her. All the firemen knew her. It's a different era. We're in now. Case in point, you see that autistic kid that got smacked by the one-on-one teacher because it was a new one-on-one teacher, right? It wasn't someone that he was familiar with. It wasn't someone that knew the student as well. So they were unfamiliar with each other. So the end result is a bad one, right? But again, like I'm saying, back then everybody knew each other. Everybody knew how to approach each other. Everybody knew how to smooth it out.
Yeah.
We don't have that today, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how we get back to it.
I don't know either. Well, we may be getting there, right? We went from 185,000 to what? 153,000.
Take it back
down.
Well, where did they all go? So what you're telling me is all the people I knew are living off island. You just came back from Washington State. No doubt you ran into a bunch of people that were Guamanians maybe just a couple of years ago that decided I'm lock, stock, and barrel moving my family up here. I mean,
absolutely.
If you want, you could.
Car out there has a Guam sticker on it.
Yeah, you can totally be a Guamanian in Washington State. You can totally be a Guamanian, King County, Kitsap, all of those places. You go to Tacoma. Oh my God, I still have relatives that live up in Tacoma.
Well, you know what they say, right? That Spanaway, Washington is the new Doña of Guam. They call that New Doña. It's not Spanaway, it's New Doña.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. And it's true.
All the Gibson live out there. All the Gibson live out in Spanaway now.
And you know, it's common. We've always talked about San Diego, California being, you know, like another village of Guam. I didn't know how true that was, Peter, until I went a few years ago to a PIFA, Pacific Islands Festival, out there, and ran. It was so weird because I'm running into people that look like I should know them. I should know that's a blonde face, that's a Kitsutu, that's a Kanato over there. There's a Pablo. I can make out the faces, the familial faces, but I've never seen these people before in my lives. And they look Chamorro, and you're right, they got a Guam sticker on the car, or they've got, you know, something that, you know, that is reflective of this mythic place called Guam that they've never ever been to before in their lives. But they hear and they see in their dreams. But they're Guamanians, but they're not on Guam anymore. And the Saipanese, to say the same thing, the Chamorros in that area. That, you know, Dad came here in the 50s after he was in the Navy for a couple of years and just stuck around. And when do you go to Guam? Weddings, funeral, occasionally, you know, somebody, a queen will be anointed there and come out for a parade. But for all intents and purposes, these are the far-flung diaspora of Guam.
Yep. And I want to close with this, Ray, is that even though it was only a 4-day trip, and as beautiful and wonderful as Washington was, I couldn't wait to get home. You know, there's no place like home. There's no place like Guam. I don't care what's going on anywhere. Guam is always going to be where my heart is.
How did you fly in? What so SeaTac to Honolulu, Guam?
When I went in February, but this time I had to go through Japan because all the Honolulu flights were booked.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about Narita City. Was it the airport? Was it busy, or is it? Because I get two different stories from people. I either get it's really, really busy at Narita, or it's a ghost town. Maybe it's just a ghost town at the Guam gate.
The international area. I did venture because I had a long layover. I did venture to the other parts because I wanted to go find something to eat. And yeah, it was extremely busy on the other side.
Right, but not where we are.
Correct.
All right. Well, listen, it's always fun talking with you, and thank you so much. This is going to go pride of place. I've got a couple of these already outside, but this is going to go in the kitchen where there's a lot of cold beer in the refrigerator, and I will start buying up some beer in bottles so that I get to use this thing. I really, really appreciate you picking this up for me in Washington.
Yeah, you know, every house has to have at least a half dozen of those.
Well, you know, I was lucky enough to be able to inherit a number of old church keys, old bottle openers from my grandmother and grandfather's stuff. So that, you know how it is. People die, and here's a box of daddy stuff. What do you want? Oh, I want the bottle opener. Can I have that? Yeah, no problem. So I've got one of those.
I don't want Real Joe to feel bad, but and I'll let him know now. I'm gonna make him one, but it's gonna be personalized.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I can hardly wait to see that. Make it clean so we can put it on the screen.
Well, the one I make is in the shape of a laddie stone, and then it says Chamorro Drinking Team Captain.
Oh, yes. Sign me up for one of those as well.
And then the person's name, of course.
Sign me up for one of those as well. You don't need to. All right, Attorney General Peter Santos.
I'll make yours, Ray, with the Father Dueñas emblem on it.
Hey, not bad. All right, well, keep that up. Pedro, I got to run. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Este amigo. 888-255-8888-TALK. I'm going to pass along some good news here, if you don't mind. I've actually had this for a while, and it has been filtered by former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez. This is indeed good news. United Airlines is reintroducing the Osaka Guam service. Yes, baby. And usually these things are not meant to respond to demand for Guamanians that want to go to Osaka as much as it is for people in Osaka to get on an airplane and come to Guam. They say that there is summer travel demand. So 3 times weekly, Osaka, Guam, starting July 1st. United is adding 3 more weekly flights between Narita and Guam. So they're going to have 14 times weekly. They are reintroducing Osaka, Japan to Guam service beginning July 1st to meet the demand. The 3-time weekly flight scheduled for Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Oh, dude, I'll take the Wednesday flight and just hang out in Osaka for a week until Sunday and then fly in, come to Guam. We arrive in Osaka at 10:10 in the morning. Return flight departs Osaka at 11:05 and arrives on Guam at 3:55.
Is that the most happening place in Japan?
Dude, I love Osaka. Okay, so
would you say that's like the?
Okay, so if I had to decide, if it was one of those things, gun ahead, is you want to go to Tokyo or do you want to go to Osaka? And I think the answer is going to be Osaka. And part of it has to do with the fact I've been to Tokyo a gazillion times. I love Tokyo City. I feel like a city kid in Tokyo, and I love that I think I've got the subway system all sorted out.
Oh yeah.
So it's not that rough. But I've only been to Osaka a couple of times, and I remember liking it very much both times. I would like to go, not necessarily in the summertime. Japan is hot in the summer. So if I get closer to wintertime and fall season, maybe that would be a little bit more appropriate. But there's great food there. They're awesome people. And it's Tokyo excitement, but kind of a little slowed down Osaka speed. There's a shopping place. Dotonbori, I think, is the name of it, if I'm remembering correctly, and there's you kind of just amble, you jump into a crowd from the hotel, and the hotel that I played was I want to say it was a Sofitel. It is in the train station. So you can go down the stairs of the hotel, and then you're in a train station, and there's great shopping and eating there, as most Japanese train stations have. But then you get out of the building and kind of just join the crowd, and before you know it, you're at this destination, and you can't miss it because there's this big mural of a Japanese guy running, and then there's this big mechanical crab in the area. If you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And there's the smell of barbecued crab, which is kind of an assault at first. Hey, but after a while, yes, leave it. I will sign it. I will definitely sign the thing. But it's so much fun to play around with when you get out there. I mean, good club scene, great restaurant scene, absolutely terrific. So if they're talking about going to Osaka, then yeah, I'm your man. If you follow me on Facebook. And you might recall that there is a picture of me with an astonishingly good-looking Japanese woman. Her name is Shiho, and she is from Osaka and has left instructions on how to get a hold of her if I ever happen to be there. But the problem is, at 9:54, just before we take the last break of the program, the problem is I cannot go to the country of Japan yet because I have not gotten 1, 2, 3 shots. They want me to be triple boosted, I think, is it? You got to have your initial, shots of Moderna.
Really, and that's their rule.
For now. It's their rule. It's their rule for now.
It's their rule, Gaijin.
I don't know. And I'm getting tempted. I have people tempting me at this time to get my jabs and go and enjoy Japan. And I don't know. I'm still not there. And even if I could, I mean, I'd have to get the first shot, And then the second shot, I got to wait 2 weeks for that. And then the third shot. And then what do I tell everybody that I've been massively proclaiming all of this time that I'm not getting vaccinated? And the answer might be, I didn't want to get vaccinated during that time because I hate people telling me what to do. But now if it's me and I just want to go to Japan and goof off with lovely Japanese people, that might be a good reason to get jabbed. But I don't know. I'll take a survey. 9:55. I'll take a break.
Come try Guam's original Chamorro restaurant with Pica's best 5 years running. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus to naktak, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet hamburgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña and Grand Plaza Tuman location. Call their Hagåtña location at 479-2652 for reservations.
Wow, nice smile. So perfect and all.
Thanks. I owe it all to Dr. Robert Yang and his smile team. They do wonders for a healthy, happy mouth.
Got teeth? Don't wait until they hurt. Schedule your routine checkup and cleaning with Dr. Yang and his smile team. Suite 119 in the East West Business Center, Upper Tumon. Call 647-8702 or 3.
The best thing that happened to teeth since toothpaste.
Dr. Yang and his smile team.
They make smiles happen.
Check out the newest hydro and garden center to hit Guam, Crop King Hydro. We have a huge selection of plant nutrients, soils, hydroponic mediums, organic pest control pumps, plant support, tools, and so much more. Call 635-4769. 635-GROW. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6 at the Dededo Satina Mall, right across from Payless and Paradise Fitness. For whatever you grow, think Crop King Hydro.
Crop King Hydro. Like that? A little phasing effect on your radio?
I do it every time.
It's crazy. 9:57 and change. All right, last few things to get through here. That's nice. Lee Weber just chimed in, said, that man's got my vote. Nice. That's a mighty endorsement indeed. I'd say that you've got my vote as well, but I still want stuff from Mike. Just saying. And the other thing is, it is true what I've said to John Savares earlier today is usually if I say, hey, you've got my vote, I'm going to support you, it's usually the kiss of death. For these guys. I mean, that was my track record for picking winners is absolutely lousy. So I got that from Lee, got a note from Tom Tomasiak, actually a couple of notes. He says he thinks it might have been Chief Marquez, James Marquez, that initiated the Ranger hats for the Guam Police Department back in the day.
Chief Jim.
Yeah, could be him. And he also, with regard to the law that says you've got to register your hands as lethal weapons, Officer Tomasiak said that he had to go before the man and have his hands registered as lethal weapons because he is a martial arts guy. I forget which one in particular, but he's a martial arts kind of guy. And then there might be a few other things that they're laying around on the paperwork here on the thing. Remind me tomorrow, because tomorrow's No Frowny Face Friday, but I might need, depending on what happens today, me and my buddies in the talk radio game have always said, you never turn your back on a Thursday. Never turn it, because Thursday is one of those days where people like to have press conferences or they like to drop bombshell news stories or just something big is going to happen on Thursday because they want it to be front page or page 2 or page 3 in the newspaper the next day. They want it to be something that Ray Gibson is going to be talking about. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But if it's a slow day, we will tell you about the next big problem that is going to be affecting retail businesses here and everywhere else. And that is basically too much inventory. We're at a stage here where there are shortages, and as these shortages are being taken care of, problem number 2 is people don't have any money for all of this extra stuff. So be on the lookout for maybe bigger savings and big sales in the stores as they try to move the too much inventory that they brought in because they had shortages of those in the past. Now we've got the merchandise, but people don't have the money to spend for it. Crazy problem to have. It's just in front of 10 o'clock in the morning. For Real Joe, Jerry Roberts, Montesilva Tyrant. My name is Ray. No Fair Frowny Face Friday on tomorrow morning. I'll check you later. Here comes Fox News.
Fox News.
It is intolerable and it is unacceptable for us to have in the state anybody who would kill little kids in our schools.
Governor Greg Abbott, one day after an 18-year-old gunman shot and wounded his grandmother in the small town of Uvalde, west of San Antonio, then drove to Robb Elementary School. Police say Salvador Ramos barricaded himself